Yes, hail Comicsgate. How are you this morning? My name is Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great to have you. Great to have you with me. Avi Fagan is in here. Joe Frago, he dances sexily. Great to be with you. I guess it's not the morning. I guess it's 2:30. To me, it's in the middle of the night. I am on a completely backward schedule, and therefore, this is late night for me, guys. It's late night for me. Some of you people are staying up and doing live streams at 9 p.m. I'm snoozing. I am asleep at that hour. A lot of people, Jabba the Cuck's here. How come the chat's moving on this side and not on this side? Can't stand StreamYards. People are saying upgrade it. I don't think I'm going to. I like that duck in the corner. I'm not embarrassed of that at all. That duck in the corner that says powered by StreamYard, that means I'm not paying for this. I'm getting it for free. I'm getting StreamYards for free, everyone. Comrade Commissar Yuri says there's a high council tonight. Yeah, I'll be there for that. I'll roll my ass out of bed to be there for that. That's World-Class Bullshitters tonight. Matt Horkin, thanks for $5. Still thinking about Mos Eisley Cantina guy. Like 16 years before, wasn't there a massive robot war? His wife probably got killed by a battle droid. F3PO. F3PO, everyone. F3PO. Very good to be here. Sanburbia Picture says, pisses me off that Mike S. Shitter liked the Twitter post on Blood Honey's review by Cosmic Book News. What a friend, huh? Well, I mean, listen. I think that ship has sailed. I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed. Who else is in here? We got Andy Hayes. We got Mortarian of the Death Guard. We've got Sweet Cast who says, hail Serena Sketches. All of you guys. It's fantastic to be here. Red Gay says, Mike's a swell guy. Oh, well, he is. He's got... Look, Mike is forgiven. I am not forgiven. No, I must repent. I am not forgiven automatically for everything that I do. That's not my belief system. Andrew Wasabi says Green Lantern destroyed by Bendis. Thanks. By the way, I don't know if you guys have seen that. Yeah, Bendis has created another African American female. I think she's American because the DCU needed more diversity. He's calling her Teen Lantern. She does have a poofy afro that's up in like I don't know, barrettes or something like that. She looks like a typical Brian Michael Bendis vision of what a black teenage girl is like. She's also a super genius. I don't think Bendis can conceive of black people that are not super geniuses. I don't know what that is with him. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure why Bendis makes all of his black female characters super geniuses. What is he trying to say? What exactly is he trying to say with that? What is he compensating for? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, this character was able to, through hacksaws and science, was able to hack into what OA? You're able to hack into OA? I don't know how you hack into OA, Brian. Stay in your lane. This is bullshit. You can't do that. Teen Lantern, he says. Teen Lantern. Okay. All right. Very good. We let these things go by unnoticed. It isn't a concern of ours. So, all right. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about making Comicsgate great, in quotes, again. Making Comicsgate great again. There's an ongoing subject. This is something that is discussed in dark corners of the interwebs by people who are unhappy by the way Comicsgate's going. And some of them have real concerns that we should address, and some of it is just nonsense. But I've invited a few people on to debate with me. I have trouble getting people on to debate with me. I don't really know why that happens. They go, why me? Why do I have to? Well, I mean, look, I'm trying to have a conversation, about what Comicsgate should be or how to move it forward or what Comicsgate is doing wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, unless we talk it out, unless we have a conversation, I'm not sure that we're going to get there. Hi, People Circus. Hi, Catsley 56. Great to see you. Thor Odinson says, yeah, right. Why hasn't Luther been hacking lantern rings every day? Oh, why hasn't Brainiac? Why only this? Well, I mean, this one teenage black girl from Earth is smarter than all of them. She's smarter than everybody. The question is she smarter than Riri Williams in the Marvel Universe? And I'm going to say, my guess is she is exactly as smart as Riri Williams. That is my guess. Okay, so let's talk about this. Kenny Jones, thanks for $10, says, hey, EVS. I'm going to get some super chats first. Hey, EVS, being an Elvis and Star Wars fan, since Elvis died in 77 and Star Wars came out the same year, if Elvis lived longer, do you think Elvis would have been a Star Wars fan? Wow, that's a great question. And the answer is yeah, absolutely. Elvis loved comic books, and I think he would have really, really enjoyed Star Wars. It's kind of sad that he died, just months before the release of Star Wars. I really think he would have dug it. I think it would have saved his life. I like to think that. I like to think it would have saved his life. Phoenix says, sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? Layoffs come, truly diminishing. A beautiful sight to see Disney not right, walking in an empty galaxy land. I think that's more sad than Yuletide. I think that's more sniffle inducing. All right, so I don't know what to do about it. I'd like to interview people. I'd like to talk to people, but instead, there's this great video that I just watched, and we'll do what we did. I mean, we'll do the kind of Edwin Boyette style. People like this. People liked it when I kind of did a tag along video and answered Edwin Boyette. So we'll do it again. I mean, this guy, by the way, his name is Sergeant Bats. And I've talked to him before. I've said, hey, let's do an interview. And he said, yeah, but it's got to be on my channel. And I went, okay, it could be on your channel. And it just never happened for whatever reason. So instead, he made this video. It's 14 minutes and 7 seconds long. So it's going to be lengthy. You can already see he's put in the subtitle, shut up and do your job, comic creators. The customer is always right. That's kind of a battle cry for Comicsgate. I think the customer is always right. And we've got people just kind of saying, look, Nerdette's newsstand is here. She says, believe in the movement. Absolutely. As far as what it's become of it at this point, is trash. Great video, she says. DeWolf says your video on the rise of many like it are the rebuilding of the next page of this movement. This guy says right on Bats. Telehim 29 says some great points, Sergeant Bats. And here's diversity in comics. No, not your boy Zack. This is actually John Delarose, who has, I believe, trademarked diversity in comics. He actually went after the defunct your boy Zack label, trademarked it, and has decided to become diversity in comics, which is like, well, hell, if there's a sucking vacuum, somebody should fill it. And I recommend it be John Delarose. Everyone trusted a bunch of failed Marvel DC pros, he says, who ruined the industry to then fix the industry. It's like nominating Dan Slott as Comicsgate King. I don't really follow that. And he says, and they have too big of names to take the name back because that's how followings work. This guy's a writer. Hey, Hispanics. This guy says he's the best Hispanic writer in the world. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel as an ethnicity? Now the folk who are the real deals. Wait, now the folk who are real deals are still around. They care about comics. Just look who's talking about comics and who's not, and follow them. Number one Hispanic writer. Caring about names is ridiculous, as I constantly point out. Smiley face. We got a little heart here. 6 Scale Combat says, I blame variant covers for all of it. Me too. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it. Battle Dime says, damn, preach it. MGTOW, life's easy if you try, says you don't. Like, you don't actually make Comicsgate great again. You don't do that. And Dave Asenowitz gives it 5 empty stars. 5, so 0 stars. Dave, when you actually give something, this means they're empty. This means 0 stars. You got to put yellow in them. You understand what I'm saying? It's got to be yellow, 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 yellow if it's going to be 5 stars. That means 0 stars, Dave. I'm going to have to give you a thumbs down for that. I'm sorry. Try again later. I already thumbs down this video. I think it's noisy, but we're going to still go over it. We'll address it and we'll see what these guys have to say. My thing is, when people talk about taking over Comicsgate or taking Comicsgate back, I don't know who they're going to take it back from. And also, at the same time, I invite them to do so. Who's stopping you? Take Comicsgate back. All right, let's check this out together.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Sergeant Bats here, king of Comicsgate, and I have a question for you.
Comicsgate doesn't have any elected leaders, but there's no reason why it can't be a monarchy. There's no reason why Comicsgate can't have kings. It can be in the bloodline. So if like Sergeant Bats has children, as long as they're men, we don't want female children taking over Comicsgate for obvious reasons. But, the Sergeant Bats bloodline can continue to be king of Comicsgate. I think that makes sense.
You guys, how do we make Comicsgate great again? Now, I have a few ideas. These are mine. I definitely want to hear yours.
Yeah.
So here, what I propose. Okay. We need to take Comicsgate back from the fakes, the posers, the professionals.
Well, I 100% agree, about taking Comicsgate back from the fakes. Comicsgate is it's a commitment. It's actually a burden. Actually saying that you're Comicsgate isn't it's fun when you're with other Comicsgaters. But it takes bravery to stand up and be Comicsgate when you are not with other Comicsgaters. It's no fun. I mean, they people do, and we're finding it out. I mean, there are a lot of guys who are Comicsgaters who are putting out their books now. I can think of a couple professionals in general who are learning what it means to actually say you're Comicsgate in the face of a blizzard of stupid SJWs on Twitter who just don't stop. And not only SJWs, but also embittered former Comicsgaters. People who I guess thought they were for making comics great again, but then decided that they weren't. I don't know. Chucky Wucky says, Comicsgate has always been great. A few family members have lost their way. No matter, we forgive family when they catch us up. In turbulent waters, we sometimes steer dangerous. In turbulent waters, we sometimes steer dangerous waters. Comicsgate is here. Thank you for that, Chucky Wucky. Marvelous Migs Guy says, tried messaging you on Twitter. I have direct messaged you. Had a slight issue with my Cyberfrog. Well, is your name Marvelous Migs? I have not gotten a message from you. Try again. And let's find out what that is. Fusebox says, ladies and gents, Outlaw Nights is live on Indiegogo. Don't miss out on this 48-page, fully colored, genre-blending, ball-busting action. That sounds like a good way to make Comicsgate great again. Brian Kriskow says, yo, Easy E, I know you're not my monkey, but could you do me a solid and tell everyone how much you love Six Gun Gorilla? It's my birthday, and I'm hoping to hit 50% funding today. Brian, I loved Six Gun Gorilla. You sent me the first 4 or 5 issues, and I read them, and I enjoyed them quite a bit. I thought the art was good, and the writing was great. And happy birthday to you. There's no reason why you shouldn't hit a 100% funding on your birthday. Yellow Flash 2 says, who the fuck is Sergeant Bats? Well, I'm introducing you to him. He, he's a YouTuber. He's on Twitter. He hangs out with that crowd, Yellow Flash, Amateur Ant says, who cares if he's Hispanic or not? I'm 50-50 white and Hispanic. It means nothing. Only SJWs and piece of shit politicians care about that garbage. Yeah, but John Delarose cares about it. You know what I'm saying? So Gunnar Rene Oy says, Gen X Strikes Back was at Disneyland last week, and Tomorrowland was quite busy, not deserted at all. Tomorrowland has OT Star Wars content. Well, I mean, that's probably why, everyone. That's why. So Yellow Flash is in the chat. Hail, Yellow Flash. I hope you like that I put up a little video about you the other day. It's only a minute long, but, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. All right, so let's get back to this. Let's find out how to... By the way, I have to say, can we just stop with the Make America Great Again memes? I mean, it's fucking 2019. Excuse my language. But it's 2019. Can we make up our own stuff? I mean, it's just, it was the same thing during the Obama presidency. It was like everything was hope, change. And it's like, everything was a parody of the Hope poster. We got to get better stuff than this. I see this and I go, oh, man, you guys are 3 years behind. And I hate to think that you guys are 3 years behind. I'd really hate to think that you were 3 years behind the times. Fuck Google 2 says, send a super chat above. You did. Grendelfan84 says, hey, Uncle E, when I read comics, I try to put a voice with each character. What would Cyberfrog's voice sound like, and who would perform his voice? Johnny Brennan from the Jerky Boys. Hey, what's up there, Flapjack? Like that. That's how Cyberfrog sounds. Fuck Google. I don't see your super chat. I'll probably catch it around the other end. Okay. Yeah. So we got to make America great again. Memes great again. That's what you guys are saying now. All right. I mean, you know what I'm going to do? I think we should do the new Trump thing. I think we should do keep Comicsgate great. Keep Comicsgate great. I think that should be that's more modern. That's more 2019, 2020. I think it would stymie these people a little bit. It would step on their toes, and I don't want to do that. But, keep Comicsgate great is the current meme, I think, from the President of the United States. Mark C. says, Sergeant Bats is an old school Comicsgate and doesn't believe pros should be due to it being a consumer movement. Yeah, I know. If Comicsgate is an ideal more than a movement, then consumers and pros can both belong. That's 100% correct. But look, this is the same old song and dance that these guys do. We'll go through it together and we'll just say what points are valid and what aren't. Fred the Cosmic Chicken, thanks for £2, says Games Workshop Warhammer did a deal with Marvel. Okay, good. Yeah. Max Mercer says Trump hasn't even built the wall, EVS. I know. That's why he needs another 4 years. It's going to take a while. All right, here we go.
Who stole our movement?
Whoa.
They took a consumer movement and made it theirs and said, this is Comicsgate now. This is phase 2.
Well, I think he's talking about me mostly. He might be talking about John Malin. He might be talking a little bit about your boy Zack. But, it's hard for somebody to take something that doesn't really have any substance or tangible. What would you say? Tangitive? What's the word I'm looking for? As it's the middle of the night, my time. It's not something that somebody can steal. There you go. There's my vocabulary. Because it's just an idea. So it's just an idea. And therefore, I hear the tremble in your voice when you say this.
They took a consumer movement and made it theirs.
Okay. Yeah, we're also consumers. I mean, we're also consumers. But again, we can't take it from you and make it ours. That's not something that we can do. I know that that's what you think. You think that's like an idea can be, a movement can be stolen from you. I mean, honestly, you guys can keep doing what you're doing. You know, like I wouldn't ask you to go away. You want to make Comicsgate great again your way, and you should go ahead and make Comicsgate great again your way. I'm going to continue making Comicsgate great again my way. Keep it great my way, and I don't understand why you're telling me to go. Why do I have to go away? Doesn't make sense. I have people that like what I have to say. I have people who have decided that Comicsgate is something that they want to be involved with. Based on the things that I've said, based on the way I describe Comicsgate. I don't understand. Okay, well, maybe you'll fill me in. Let's keep going.
And said, this is Comicsgate now. This is phase 2. Now, let me get something straight.
Oof.
A movement does not reinvent itself so it can profit off the consumer when the consumer was the creator of the movement.
Well, see, I don't know why you say that, because you're basically asking Marvel and DC to reinvent themselves to profit off of this movement. What exactly would be the difference? If Comicsgate, from your point of view, got everything that they wanted, it would involve Marvel and DC Comics creating comic books to your specifications. They would have to reinvent themselves in order to please you. So what's the difference if they do it or if other professionals do it? I guess that's my question. I don't really understand what exactly the purpose of your version of Comicsgate would be. That's where I'm confused, but you'll probably get to it. We'll keep going with this.
Now, Comicsgate is a name that just stuck. I can say I personally.
John Delarose says he made up the name Comicsgate. I'm gonna go ahead and give him that. I think John Delarose made up the name Comicsgate. And what happened was, it was first of all, during Gamergate, 4chan. This was back in 2015. I don't know if John Delarose made it up after all. I think probably 4chan made it up. But during 2014, during Gamergate, or 2015. 4chaners were saying, let's have Comicsgate. Let's make Comicsgate happen. Let's do Comicsgate. It's got to happen because there are too many SJWs in comics. They were trying to force Comicsgate to come to be. And eventually some people on the left picked up on that. Some people on the right as well started saying, yeah, this is Comicsgate. This is Comicsgate. And me, caught in the middle. I was actually a part of, I think I was at the center of the firestorm of Comicsgate, because I was the first. I was the first pro. I think I was one of the first. I think John Malin might have been one of the very first, perhaps, pro to actually separate from one of the big two, stand up to my peers and tell them they're wrong. So at that point, what I said was, I am Comicsgate. Meaning that, I agree with this. I agree with your boy Zack, essentially. Everything that I'm seeing Zack say, and I would consider Zack to be real OG Comicsgate, just at the heart of Comicsgate. I just felt like everything he said was right. Yeah. She was a cum dumpster. Yeah, SJWs have taken over the comic book industry. Yes, it does look like a Party City wig. So I agreed with him, and I stood up and said, I am Comicsgate, and this infuriated a bunch of people. And I think it was close to around that time, I started to talk about Comicsgate all the time, because it was actually affecting my life. It wasn't a hobby. It wasn't just a hobby to me that was, being destroyed. It was also my livelihood. It was also like, hey, this is my way of life. And, if the comic book industry doesn't change, people like me are not going to be able to feed our families anymore. I mean, they won't either. The SJWs eventually won't either. This is the thing. But they don't seem to understand what they're doing, or they don't care. And I do. I actually do care about the continuation of the comic book industry. So I said I am Comicsgate, and it was kind of a confusing statement because Comicsgate just kind of represented the war. It wasn't a side of the aisle. Comicsgate just meant the war that's going on. It's as if to say I am the Vietnam War. It's like that's kind of what saying I am Comicsgate is like. But in fact, what it meant was, no, we this thing that you have called us, that represents a scandal. You guys are trying to scandalize us, call us a hate movement, call us this and that. Write all these articles about what Comicsgate is. It's a movement harassing women. I said I reject all of that, and I'm Comicsgate, and so is everyone else. There's no leader of Comicsgate. We're all the leader of Comicsgate, and the ideals that I've heard spoken. In other words, it's not even. This is what you do. This is how to figure out what Comicsgate is. You actually just watch a lot of Zack's videos and say what they're doing. We won't do that. It's like we're the opposite. We're the inside out version of what SJWs are. And that became the rallying cry. These principles became what I spoke about every day, and I attracted a very, very big audience. But at no time did I say, don't go watch Sergeant Bats. At no time did I say, don't go watch Captain Cummings or any of these guys. I invite you to and certainly talk about, and used to have these guys on my show all the time. I used to talk about Cummings and talk about Doug Ernst and talk about these guys, and used to appear on Englentine all the time. Early on, I used to go on his show all the time, and he was always fighting with his brother. It was weird. And look, I mean, this is what it was. It was just a lot of opinions, a lot of ideas. People didn't always agree with each other. But that's what early Comicsgate was. It was just still trying to see if we could get Marvel and DC to change. All right, I've talked enough. Let's let this guy talk.
Have been a part of this movement before it had a name. But when it got a name, that is when the professionals, air quotes, professionals, came in and said, we're making Comicsgate comics. These books are for you guys. We're reinventing the industry for you guys. And I will admit, I am one of those people who bought into that. I believed in, as Zack called it, we're building a spaceship because the planet is doomed. The planet being the comic book industry.
Yeah, I don't like Zack's. I don't like Zack's spaceship metaphor. I like my Noah's Ark better.
That just stuck. I can say I personally have been a part.
Hold on a second.
So it can profit off the consumer. When the consumer.
Wait a second.
A movement does not reinvent itself so it can profit off the consumer when the consumer was.
I don't understand this. Just the word consumer, by the way, implies that there's money to be made. What is up with the kind of socialist, weird, commie sort of bile that you're spitting around the word profit when you're also talking about the consumer? You're not talking about the worker. See, this is the weird thing. Consumer means this is somebody who has money to spend on something. Nobody should be profiting off of the consumer in a consumer movement. What the fuck are you talking about? What would a consumer movement be if it wasn't something to be profited from? People who actually address the concerns of the consumers are doing so for profit. For what other reason would they do anything in a consumer movement? Consumer, they consume things. They have money to purchase in order to consume product. One assumes that somebody is going to profit off of that. Why wouldn't it be somebody who aligns with their point of view? What on earth are you talking about? You guys just say things, and I don't think you're thinking through anything that you're saying. I don't think that, and I mean that respectfully. I don't want to diss this dude. All right, let's see. The Angry Spark, thanks for $20. He says, check out our 180-page narrated art book, Eternal. Funding now on Indiegogo. Action, sci-fi, and ancient mysteries from concept artist Greg Semkow. It looks great, Angry Spark. It really does. It looks fantastic. All right, let's go. Let's just listen to more of this. I like this guy.
The creator of the movement. Now, Comicsgate,
excuse me,
is a name that just stuck. I can say I personally have been a part of this movement before it had a name. But when it got a name, that is when the professionals...
He sounds like he's about to cry. Stop. Just calm down. Settle down. I can hear your chest heaving. Settle down.
Professionals, air quotes, professionals came in and said, we're making Comicsgate comics. These books are for you guys. We're reinventing the industry for you guys.
We didn't say that. Nobody said we're reinventing the industry for you guys. I don't think anybody said that. It's a weird thing about us reinventing the industry. That's not what we were doing. We don't care about the industry. That's a concern for you guys. We've given it up for dead. I don't think there's any way to pull the SJWs out of it. I consider the industry about to die. And we'll get into that. You're about to talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's go.
And I will admit, I am one of those people who bought into that. I believed in, as Zack called it, we're building a spaceship because the planet is doomed.
Zack meant that literally, by the way. Zack belongs to a Heaven's Gate style cult. You thought he was talking about Comicsgate. He was talking about Heaven's Gate. It's a common mistake. Zack is literally building a spaceship. He's making you all wear Nike's sneakers. You're all going to get on the spaceship. Planet's almost over. It is. The ice caps are melting. Ask Greta.
The planet being the comic book industry.
My bad.
And I don't believe that anymore.
What would make you not believe that? What evidence? What has changed now for the better to make you think that the comic book industry is no longer terminal? Are we growing comic book shops suddenly faster than we're losing them? Are sales increasing? Are sales going up now? It's inevitable. I hate to say it. I really do. It's inevitable. It's dying. It's going to die. It's going to die. And there are like a dozen reasons why that's going to happen. And they're all just awful. Any one of them would be fatal. And this is just the way it's going to go. I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe the comic book industry is going to die. It is. How would this industry sustain itself in 2019? How would an industry that sells paper products to a diminishing fan base, okay, you got to be 30 and older pretty much to be a comic book fan these days, that wants to get in its car, drive to comic book stores, and buy SJW infected pamphlets for $6 a piece cover price now? They have to go get them. The books just aren't the same. They're not the same characters that they used to love. These books, it's like Aquaman. These books are selling between 20 and 30,000 copies now. It's dying. It's dying. It's still here. I understand it. You might be confused because it's still here right now, but it's dying, and comic shops are closing. And at some point, we're going to hit critical mass where there are no longer any enough comic book shops open to actually support the direct market. And then that's going to be it. Or something else is going to happen. We'll get to that in a second. You can already see these guys trying to figure out what to do from here, Sergeant Bats. They're trying to get these 100-page specials put into Walmart and stuff. They consider that to be the future of the industry, but that is not going to sustain hundreds and hundreds of comic book professionals that are currently working within the comic book industry. See what I mean?
It sounded like it was truth.
Critical mass.
But it's all false.
It's all false.
The comic book industry will not die. Now, will it evolve? Will it change?
Yes, it will. It will evolve and change. It's going to evolve and change. Okay. So the comic book industry as it is now, which is the direct market, okay, which means comic book, the big two companies and other companies solicit in a catalog, which gets sent to brick and mortar comic book stores all over the world, especially in the United States and Canada. They try to convince comic book stores to pre-order their comics 3 months ahead of time. They fill these comics with 40, 45 variant covers sometimes for their special issues. And then comic shop owners have to kind of guess how many customers are going to come into their shops and buy these comics. It's an old, outdated model. It's not going to work anymore. So the comic book industry is going to collapse, and it does need to be replaced by something if comic books are going to survive. And there's really no reason why they have to. There's no reason why comic books have to survive as an industry. There's no reason. People have to actually do something.
Will there still be new Spider-Man or Batmans or new Marvel comics in 10 years? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. However, Disney, 18...
Does Zack want to come in? Is he in here? I see a lot of Zack heads. Zack says hyperliteralism. Comic book industry can't die because it's not quote unquote alive. Wow. Zack, I'll send you the link. I don't know if you feel like chatting right now, but yeah, it could be fun. This guy goes on for 14 minutes, and it's almost like, in a way, it makes me sad, but but then again, it doesn't make me sad. At the same time, it makes me happy because it makes me realize that I'm right. All right, let's see. Your boy Zack. All right. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Zack, I sent you the link. If you do want to come on in. I don't know if you're busy. How you feel? And we haven't had a chat in a week or so, I guess. Let me see. Wow, a lot of Zack heads. A lot of people are excited that Zack's in the chat tonight or this afternoon. And catch up. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Save us, Zack. Save us. All right, let's go. Let's get back to this. Sorry, Zack will not save you. If Zack does come in here, that's cool, but I don't think he's going to save you. We do have to get through this. Make Comicsgate great again. All right, let's go.
The owners of Marvel Comics and DC Comics will never stop publishing books.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that? And why do you say it with such anger? And why is your voice trembling? They are going to stop publishing books. There's no reason for them to continue publishing books. It's not their fault that the audience isn't here anymore. Why would they continue to throw money into the ether when there's no longer any need? See, the reason why comic books sustain themselves for so long during down periods was because these companies actually needed to maintain. They needed to constantly keep the characters out there in order to maintain the copyrights and trademarks. They no longer have to do that. In the old days, meaning, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, there weren't all of these X-Men movies. There weren't all of these cartoons. There weren't all of this. Nowadays, there is a TV show, a movie, a cartoon, something for every single one of these properties. And if there isn't now, there will be. They've got a streaming service that requires content. They no longer need to do comic books anymore. It's just not important. And if it's not profitable, if it's not making them any money, and the fandom isn't really here anymore, why would they continue? Oh, Zack's here. All right, let's add Zack to the stream. Hey, Zack.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I saw your live stream just as I was finishing uploading one of my videos. I jumped on. You were talking about interesting things. So thanks for inviting me in.
You're quite welcome. You're going to be sorry because we're going through this whole 14-minute video. So
Oh, Jesus.
we've got some complaints. I mean, some people, and by the way, you're going to add, because I'm not sure that we agree about all this stuff. So it's going to be interesting to hear what you have to say about this stuff. But yeah, we've got somebody who is angry that there are professionals in Comicsgate. They feel like they've, the movement has been taken from them. So they're gonna make Comicsgate great again. Do you remember Comicsgate being great, Zach?
I don't even know how to define that. I mean, isn't there it's like Christianity. There's like 20 different, you got the Baptists and are Mormons even considered Christians?
Well, Mormons consider themselves Christian. Yeah, they believe in Christ as the Son of God, et cetera, et cetera.
So basically, there's no set definition of it. So I don't even know how to describe that.
You want to try?
I mean, I think the vaguest one that everyone would agree, less overt politics and better treatment of customers.
Right. Those are the two things. I mean, it's like, those are the two pillars of Comicsgate. It should be simple. I always find it weird when like people say, well, I was Comicsgate, but I'm no longer Comicsgate. Because it's like, have you changed your mind about those two things? Or is it just that, you don't want to socialize with other Comicsgaters anymore? And that tends to be what I find more than anything else. People have
Yeah, familiarity breeds contempt. And, listening to 300 hours of say on Discords for 2 years, people are going to build up beefs and animosities and things like that. But I don't think anyone has reversed like the two very like kind of unassailable. I mean, you could just bring those tenets up to anyone, in any industry. Would you like less, one-sided politics and better customer service? They would say that at Sizzler. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. Fine. Yeah.
Wow. We could do like budget steakhouse gate. Just let's keep the politics, let's keep the divisive stuff out of just our customer service.
SJWs are ruining Texas Roadhouse.
Oh shit! I knew they'd get to that.
Yeah, it was always shit. I hate Texas Roadhouse. It's awful.
Longhorn Steakhouse is good.
Longhorn Steakhouse is freaking.
Their rolls are fantastic.
Oh, exactly. What's the worst when you get there? Usually the rolls are fresh out of the oven, and sometimes you get a room temperature roll, and it just kind of breaks your heart.
Yeah, you want to just send them back and get more. Longhorn Steakhouse, even though it's hard for me to say. Longhorn Steakhouse. But yeah, so in general, I think that's what Comicsgate is. These guys do have a problem. They don't want professionals involved. Which I think is interesting. They say, keep your profits, keep people who want to make a profit out of our consumer revolt.
So that's really weird. Did you see the video about Chris?
Hey, Zach, can you get better audio? Is there any way? Can you look?
I got a headphone on. Does it sound like it's coming from the headphone or it's coming from the tablet?
Now you sound okay. I don't know.
It's like I sat up. I guess I have headphones on, but I guess it's coming from my tablet. So I'll just talk like this.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's just that you kind of cut in and cut out, and people want to hear what you have to say. Okay, start over.
I forget what I was talking about.
What were we talking about?
Chris Sabella. So he had this thing where he was selling bootleg merch. The comic book industry is doing fantastic, and yet people who get constant work and movie deals, they got to sell bootleg merch for a book they're not even on, or a character they don't even write, just to afford $400 for Southwest Airlines. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then at the end, he ended up talking to the 2000 AD who owns the rights to Dread. And then he basically called off the dogs. He said, okay, everyone calm down. We spoke about it. I'm not going to sell this bootleg merch. He didn't say it like that, but that was the message. And then he goes, us in 2000 AD, we're not trying to get rich. We're just trying to make comics. And I was like,
Whoa.
That's how you call up SJWs. You go, whoa, 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 no, it's cool. Nobody here's trying to make money, and they go, oh, okay, okay, good, okay, so it's not evil. Okay, cool, awesome. Like that was a real. And people said, "Are you going to do a follow up?" It's like I could almost do a follow up just on that, just the insanity of saying, no, everything's cool. Nobody's making money. It's good. It's good. It's stable.
God, that really hurts my head. I mean, just that whole thing, and that is true, and that's kind of what this guy just kind of said. He's like,
how do you own Judge Dredd and not make money hand over fist?
You need to.
Can you imagine if you got the rights to Judge Dredd for American comics?
Holy shit, Zach, are you kidding? Look what Doug TenNapel did with Earthworm Jim. I mean, known properties in the hands of Comicsgaters is limitless. I mean, the profit is limitless. You can totally sell those comics because we care.
Tell me you couldn't do 25,000 Judge Dredd graphic novels.
I'm sure I could. Yeah. I love drawing Judge Dredd too.
That would be 1 million plus. That'd be like 1.5 million, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you throw in all the tchotchkes.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to do that in a way. I mean, I'm happy with Cyberfrog, but again, like, look, how can you have these properties and not make money doing the comics? And maybe these people just don't deserve to have these IPs anymore. They shouldn't have control of them because they eventually they're going to have to evolve and do it the way that we're doing it. The industry is going to have to change, and we see this coming already. Some people don't. Some people do. I'm actually talking to a lot of professionals who are like, "Yeah, I actually am super envious of your business model." And I'm like,
"Well, I just uploaded a video right now. It's called what's it called? Uncanceled." And basically, both Image and even HBO, they're basically now working with people who got canceled. They're, these big media entities are finally figuring out, oh, wait, it's the same 12 psychos. And we're basing all of our decisions and we're losing money. Why are we not working with these people? So I think that's going to be the new trend for the next couple of years, uncanceling people.
I love it, but I actually like to be canceled. I'm really enjoying where I'm at. I know that a lot of people aren't, but I don't know. I kind of like it. I like being Darth Vader to SJWs.
Geez, I was doing a little bit of a research for this Chris Sabella video yesterday, and I've been staying out of Twitter, but I had to go through a Twitter discussion. They use you as a reference for objective ultimate evil.
Oh my God, really?
It's not even your person. It's like, that Fantasia, that the demon on the mountain.
Yeah.
Like that's how they describe you. You're like an antichrist or something like that.
Zach,
and they
I'm
just
fully engorged right now. I have to admit.
and
I'm around.
And they talk about it as if it's a stated fact or if it's a known fact. Like this is a cultural touchstone. Everyone knows that Ultimate Evil's true name is not Baphomet, or Melchizedek. The true name of evil is Ethan Van Sciver.
Yes. Yes. All right. Fuck those people. Those SJWs are scumbags, and their views are inside out. They're mirror reversed, ethics and morals, and they need to be rejected. I love that they think I'm evil because they're evil.
Exactly.
So, it's like if they think I'm evil, that means I am saintly. I'm angelic. And of course, everybody who knows me knows that that's the case. All right, let's listen to a little bit of this guy talk, Zach, and you tell me, okay?
Okay.
He almost got hit by a car. Zach, what do you think about what he's saying? He's saying, look, they're always going to make comics because there's no reason to leave money on the table, and they need to make money off of these characters.
So I can't actually hear the audio for some reason. But I dipped in a little, and it just seemed to be a Rolodex of, already destroyed hot takes and hyper literalism. They say the comic book industry isn't going to die, but there's still going to be 100-page DC books at ankle height in Walmart. So take that, you incels. It's like, we're obviously describing a very specific thing. When we say the comic book industry is going to die, we're saying the direct market is going to die. Like you said, there's going to be stores called comic book stores in 10 years, in 20 years. Not very many, probably under 1,000, probably close to 500 in about 10 years. I mean, Bleeding Cool is doing an article about a store closing about every 2 or 3 days now.
Yeah.
And you got to assume that probably there's going to be 2 that quietly close with no fanfare. One of the things that I find the most disheartening is when these people lose their livelihood, they still want to keep their social circle. So they'll always do that Facebook post that's just super vague. Amazon.com. Amazon's been around for 20 years. Amazon was, it's been around for 20 years. I still remember that Irish comic book shop that blamed an overly aggressive meter maid. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up, for the store going out of business.
I remember that. Yeah. By the way, everybody in the chat saying can't hear. I know, because when I let Zack in, I had to reshare the screen, and now I turned the audio off. So let's play that.
So nobody heard it. Okay.
Nobody heard it. Let's play it again.
Like Batman and Spider-Man, Superman, the X-Men. They will always make money off of those characters, whether the comic book industry becomes strictly digital or it becomes strictly graphic novels. It strictly becomes
movies and TV.
Because this is just straw manning. We never said Batman will not exist in 5 years. We're saying a Batman monthly comic might not exist in 5 to 10 years. I think Black Label I think they're going to make that DC Comics. Black Label is going to become DC Comics. Prestige books, a nicer form factor, a good price, and just the good stuff. You put out 5 of those a month, 5, 6, 7 of those a month by different crews. You can get, there's enough people to do 5 prestige books a month.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to really do that. Eventually, I think it is going to be reprint.
Like you said, the tipping point. At some point, it's just everything collapses. You can't have Diamond, distributors working when there's 850 stores. It doesn't make any sense. They would just somehow offload that to Amazon fulfillment, and then Diamond would go away. I don't understand why everyone isn't trying to save their jobs more, by talking about the elephant in the room.
Well, I think that would be rude. I mean, I'm losing weight. Zach, what do you mean? What's the elephant in the room?
The elephant in the room is, the trend for the last couple years. Hire people with no experience in the industry because of demographic traits, identity. Keep them in. Allow their behavior to be anything. Allow them to be openly hostile towards the fans. Back when I was, on Twitter, I used to remember whenever the newest SJW was being introduced in comics, like the first thing, what was that? The girl gang in Greece, the Pink Ladies. Yeah. They would get welcomed into the Pink Ladies, and the first thing they would learn how to do, here's how to run a blockchain or a block list. And it's like, wait, these people just got into the industry. Like this month, your first lesson is how to block customers. That's insane. And we saw when Peter Simeti was driven to the point of suicide. And you had people, in my opinion, purposely misconstruing what he said. He wrote a very easy blog post. Hey, you can block any individual you want, but you can't mass block 20,000 people. And then, the usual suspects. Oh, he wants people to be harassed. He wants just lying, just evil people lying to destroy. That's, you can't hire stuff like that. It's not sustainable. It's not funny. It's not fun.
Daniel Parker says, hey, Ethan, I just got my second Cyberfrog copy today. I think the Salamandroid cover is my favorite. All right, cool, Daniel. Thanks a lot, man. Enjoy. It's funny. It's like, what they immediately do is they try to induct you into their club, and then they tell you the rules of the club. And the rules of the club do not take the customer in mind at all, which is why, it's necessary. It's necessary that a new professional movement that sort of adopts Comicsgate standards steps forward and actually learns from that mistake and does better. because they don't care. I mean, at this point, they don't care. They don't care because they're so far removed from the customer. Think about this. Think about how far away the average comic book professional is from you, the customer. All they're trying to do is sell to the comic book company that they're working for. The company that takes their work is only trying to sell it to the comic book stores, and it's the comic book stores that have to sell to you. I mean, it's like they're 3 degrees away from you. They don't care what you think. Unless you're an editor, unless you're somebody in power within comics, they don't give a damn what you think. They're not trying to sell to you. I mean, we're trying to sell directly to you. And that's the difference between what Zack and I are doing and what these people are doing.
And being demonized for it. You saw the Dan Slott. These people, Dan Slott and Mark Waid, have taken us to task for subverting the comic book shop, stealing money out of comic book shops.
That's got to infuriate you.
Absolutely infuriating. It's just complete scumbag move. Lying. These people are, their variant covers, schemes and scams are putting stores out of business, and it seems like it's accelerating. I think we might have 150 stores go out of business this year.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's every 3 days.
Can you
schemes
say
and scams? All
right, one more time.
Schemes and scams.
There, now it's a meme. Okay. Yeah. So, all right, let me listen to a little bit more of this guy. I'm interested in him. He sounds really upset, and I want him to not be upset.
A streaming service, any of that. That doesn't mean because the published books will, in the future go away. That doesn't mean that Disney or AT&T will just leave that money there. Comics will never die.
I mean, that's a bold pronouncement from somebody who doesn't work within the comic book industry and really has no idea what he's talking about.
I mean, I think he's just getting like a super vague statement that, yes, there will be books and pamphlets that have, sequential art telling stories. Like, I mean, did we ever say that comic books will not exist in any form?
No, that's our entire purpose. I mean, our entire purpose every day that we wake up is to make sure that comics exist in some form in the future.
The thing that's frustrating is I feel like the people saying these things know that's not what we said. So it's like having a fake conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, accusing your friend of stealing your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you never made one, and you don't like peanut butter and jelly. You're just kind of bored, and you just want to have a fight.
Yeah.
So you're saying no people can eat peanut butter and jelly? Is that what you're saying? It's like, holy shit, like the sandwich never existed.
I like that it's about peanut butter and jelly. Now I'm hungry. All right, let's play more of this.
This doesn't mean us as consumers got to buy into the idea that excommunicated, blacklisted, whatever, comic book creators from the old big two are here to save it for us. That is a lie. They're not going to save nothing. All they care about is themselves. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. All they care about is making money.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, I think that I'll chalk that up to the familiarity breeds contempt kind of inevitable conclusion to that. I mean, I personally have given out bonuses in the 6 figures over the last year.
I haven't. Just 5 figures. You've given 6 figures away in bonuses?
Way more. When you add up all the bonuses to every single person.
You're going to steal my colorist away from me. I know it. Don't I need Kyle. Of course we care about customers. Of course we care about our consumers. How would we do business if we didn't care about them? I mean, we care about them. We also care about ourselves. We care about our business. We care about our comics. Those two things go hand in hand.
I feel like Chris Sabella needs to come in and go, whoa, everything's cool. Nobody's making money. And everyone's like, oh, I was afraid someone was making money over here.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Everyone's impoverished and well into adulthood and can't afford a plane ticket. Plane tickets are really affordable. Plane tickets now are cheaper than they were 20 years ago.
Yeah,
At a convention, you know that thing's coming a year out.
You know what bothers me about that is Chrisabella is a piece of shit. But these people go to these conventions and they hope to break even if they steal. You know what I mean? It's like you're going if you're going to this convention and you can't afford to go, and your only hope of breaking even is to be able to grift the IP
Schemes and scams.
Schemes and scams from a well-known publisher. Why are you going? Like, the reason why I don't
Here's
go
another one that I was like so angry at myself. Christabel's been in the industry for about what, like 10 years, 5-10 years?
I guess I've never
He has
heard
a
of
mini series. Oh, he constant work for Image. He has a mini series. It does bad. He immediately gets another one. Now, it doesn't do mags bad. They'll sell like 3,000 on the last issue. They'll start at 5,000. They'll end at 3,000, which is actually considered kind of okay for nowadays. But why isn't he selling merch of like his 12 creator-owned properties? Or the one that's being put into a TV show. Now, he might not be able to do the one for the TV show, but I could sell Jawbreakers merch. I could pay for a plane ticket. I mean, and he has way more comics produced than I do. Like, dude, why are you stealing someone else's IP? You have your own IP.
You have plenty of your own IPs, but his IPs were never meant to really be sellable in that way. They were meant to be, here's a shot at a TV show on Netflix.
Exactly. And like I said, when you do that as your 100% goal, when you read these books, when you read the Mags books, you can tell she put nothing of herself into it. It's something to be sold. It's like a surrogate mother. You're just trying to give this thing away. And so they're kind of like DOA. They're just like generic plots and, the vampires are time travelers. I don't care. Everyone's trans. I don't care.
Yeah, I know. It's tiresome. I mean, I could go think about a product.
Can you imagine you've got, what do you got? You got 2 IPs, right? You got Cyberfrog and you got Rainbow the Brute.
Right.
Can you imagine, I don't know, like what's something like all of a sudden you're doing like bootleg, John Wick stuff?
Yeah, like I would never.
Why are you not doing? You haven't even produced Rainbow the Brute except for some illustrations. You could pay for a first-class ticket selling merch for Rainbow the Brute. Like what? Within like 2 hours?
Within 1 second. It's
let's calm down.
Well, no, I mean, Zach, how long does it take us? Here's the thing: we have such a good relationship.
What is a first-class ticket? It's like $1,500, right?
$1,500. Yeah, we could do it in a second. We just put up one campaign for something new that's cool. We put some thought into, and boom, we'll make $1,500 in literally 1 second.
I'm going to say a couple of minutes.
A couple minutes. All right, that's being conservative. But I mean, this is the thing. Like, why? Well, because we created IPs that people actually, these things were meant to be comic books. These things contain our hearts. We talk about them all the time. People want to be a part of them. People want to see more of it. And yeah, because of that, the freedom of owning your own IP means that you don't have to steal from other people. It's incredible. I don't know why Chris Sabella doesn't just do everything that I say all the time. I don't know why Chris Sabella doesn't write thank you notes to you, Zach. For your advice.
I'm gonna look up he's got all of these properties, and it's just he's got like 12 different IPs from just like the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris Sabella, and he's like on Twitter all day long. Trustfall, Test, Shanghai Red, House of Muck, Heartthrob. Okay, yeah, nobody buys these guys. Okay, so now I understand why he's doing it.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything.
Right. Mark's just got nothing.
Right. Okay, so let's listen to more of this dude here.
Comicsgate was never, and I mean ever, about making money.
Okay, so one thing I did in a video yesterday, and I said, because this guy was talking about professional wrestling, I don't think anyone should be into CG or crowdfunding or comics to get like that angry like about a statement like that. Like that's just, you probably invested too much, and you probably have a very specific view of it. And then if you find out that your view is not the common view, you're going to just get super angry. I'm leaving CG. Like, what, can we get like a Google map? Where is it? Like, where is it? Where did you leave?
Where did you leave from? I know, it's like I always wonder that. I'm like,
can we get latitude and longitude?
Did you become an SJW? Like, if you said, you know what, I've become an SJW. I have become, you know, a blue-haired feminist, and I've decided I'm no longer Comicsgate. I'm leaving Comicsgate. And I'd be like, oh, it makes sense to me. All right, see ya. But yeah, I don't understand anything. I don't understand people leaving Comicsgate for any other reason. It's like, no, I think the customers should be shit on, and I think they should be propaganda pamphlets, comics. I think that's what they were always meant to be, just to endlessly propagandize. If that's, I guess if that's what you believe, then it makes sense. But this guy's saying Comicsgate was never meant to make money, ever. Then what was it for? I really don't understand. I think ultimately the end result of Comicsgate should have been money in someone's hands, either Marvel's hands or DC's hands, or the hands of the independent movement that rises up to meet the challenge of Comicsgaters. Money's going somewhere. That's why they're consumers. They need to consume something. So why wouldn't it go to Comicsgate creators? I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, maybe he's going to tell us. Let's find out.
It was about producing good comics for longtime fans, not changing the characters to reinvent them as a different character or an SJW. Oh, goodness gracious, I said the S word. None of that nonsense was ever what that was about. It was about us wanting good books. Now, these pros came in and claimed that they had the good books. Well, now as time has passed, we know that is not true. They have no way to compete with corporate conglomerates such as AT&T or Disney.
I got something. My last two books have been in the top 5 as compared to the corporate comics as listed on Comic-Con. I believe I got up to number 3 with one of them.
I saw
selling like that, like Marvel and DC. I think it was everything but like The Walking Dead, and that was fair. I did 30 days of sales, on Indiegogo versus what would have been, the orders for that month in the comic book stores. I mean, did you ever do that? Did you ever like look at your first month and compare it?
Yeah, I was number 1. I mean, I beat every single book. Well, I mean, you have to compare yourself to the trade paperbacks because that's what we are.
Exactly.
$25 books. Cyberfrog Blood Honey sold. I don't even know what it's up to. It's probably around 18,000 right now. It might be nearing 20,000 copies of a $25 book, and that is just unheard of in this industry right now. So, not only do we compete with the mainstream, but we beat their asses upside down. And it's just me and Zack. It's just a handful of us, that are doing this. The other thing is, it's not really that. It's not like we really have to compete with them. This idea that we need to compete with them and destroy them, they're destroying themselves. We're not trying to do that. They are a star destroyer that is crashing into the earth. They're coming down. Basically, all we need to do is survive and figure out a way to publish our handful of comics for our many tens of thousands of fans, and we're gonna be okay. But this idea that this is SJWs present this straw man all the time, like this is how you're gonna beat the mainstream. It's like, I don't think we're in the ring with them. We're over here. We're out in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Like we're not. If they're Burger King, we're a hot dog stand across the street, but we're selling better than them.
Yeah, and like I always say, like I should not be coming close to any Marvel numbers. Yeah. Like I should be getting outsold 50-1, and I'm not, and that's a problem. That's a problem for them, because I'm taking money that would have gone to Marvel. I do, Jawbreakers is Marvel style superheroes, 80s, 90s, and Quesada era. It would have gone to Marvel, but those people are rejecting, Marvel because Marvel doesn't resemble Marvel. It resembles Black Mask.
Oh, Marvel's such a mess, dude. They're just the cooking channel now. Lifestyle brand. How can I make Cyberfrog into a lifestyle brand? I got to do that next year. Cyberfrog cooking shows. How to fold your laundry with Cyberfrog. It should be good. All right, let's listen to a little more of this guy here.
Are just regular doofuses.
That's true.
Indiegogo campaigns. That is not ever going to save the comic book industry.
Yeah, Sean Gordon Murphy's
So I wish
coming over at Indiegogo.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
And he's going to make $1 million, and he was very, very clear. This is a money move. He's done the math in his head, and he's expecting to put up big numbers. He's even saying that basically he will make more than he makes on Batman. Of
course, yeah, of course. We all make more than he makes on Batman. He's going to do really, really well, especially if he gets the support of this community. He's going to do fine. I don't know why this guy. I think this guy just says ever a lot, and then that's supposed to be impressive. Yeah, actually, I do think crowdfunding is going to be the future of comics for a little while.
Because when these stores close down, you live in whatever New York City, and you live in Manhattan, and there's a comic store down by World Trade that went out of business, and there's one over in the Village that went out of business. But you still got Midtown, so you got comic stores in a lot of parts of the country. That store closes down. That was the only store in a radius of 1 hour. I hear about people saying it's a 2-hour drive to get to a comic book store now. There used to be one here, but it's gone. There used to be this. It's gone. And it's a habit, That's why I'm trying to get, more product, because, once a year, twice a year, that's not a habit. That's what I'm trying to get, 4 books per year.
Yeah. I'd love to do 4 books a year, man. I'm thinking about what you're saying. I listen to you. I'm doing Cyberfrog Blood Honey or Cyberfrog Wreck Planet next. I keep it down to 48 pages. I might be able to do 3 books next year. It's possible if I get a head start now, and then just consider this next year.
Have you ever thought about getting like someone to do breakdowns and you do finishes?
I'd rather die. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Like, this is about it's about me doing my comics. Like, it's not about just, this is the thing. Again, it's not just about the comics existing. It's about me doing them. So if they're not purely me, like if Richard Pace came in and did my breakdowns, it would be horrible. I wouldn't be able to live with myself, and I wouldn't.
By the way, I still have not seen one single complaint about the art.
No, I haven't either yet. I'm waiting. There's still some reviews coming in. Just some guy's going to do a review. He says he's going to hurt someone's feelings. I assume it's me. No,
he said it, and it's not who you think.
Oh, well, we'll see what he has to say. I trust his opinion. There are a few people that I trust. I saw a review on Cosmic Book News that was like 2.5 stars out of 5, and the guy didn't read the book. I read his review and I was so frustrated.
Yeah, I saw. I had something similar. I think it was that Anthony Gramuglia or one of those usual suspects. Somebody did a review and it was so obvious that they didn't read it. It was. They were just sharing, like, some of my stalkers were sharing like random pages that they thought would make me look bad because it had like a cartel leader saying something racist. They're like, well, if he writes something like this, that's the bad guy. You know what I mean? It's like trying to defame George Lucas by showing the scene where Tarkin orders Alderaan to be blown up. Well,
George Lucas
is in favor of genocide, clearly. I don't like that voice for not mentally ill and soy now. Clearly, George Lucas supports genocide.
That's better.
Think of all the gay Alderaanians. All day.
Yeah, and he is. I don't like that. I'm like, you didn't read the. He's like, I don't know who this character is. I don't know what he was doing here. And I'm like, well, it's in the book. Like, if you read it, it tells you. Like, if you read, it tells you exactly who these characters are and what they're doing in the book. And yeah, there's a little bit of this thing where, first of all, Zach, did you read it yet or no?
No, I haven't read it yet.
Okay. There's a thing where, it's like Heather Swain is being stalked by this creature called Deathfly. And he basically appears in the first series. I mean, he's the main bad guy in the first Cyberfrog series. And so there's kind of a little bit of, you might want to go back and read this if you want to learn about this guy. But at the same time, like, I've rewritten all of that so that it still happened, but it happened differently than we're led to believe. And I'm going to explain all that over the course of the next 3 issues. That character, is going to be a part of it. And so it's, I'm assuming that people are going to read the next one. I'm kind of doing this David Lynch style, where it's like, here's a chunk of information with a ton of questions in it. And the next issue is going to answer those and present a whole bunch more questions. And then the next issue, et cetera, until you have, well, Dave Lynch didn't really answer much at the end of Twin Peaks. But at the end of the story, you will have more answers and you're going to understand where we are. I see it as more of a complete thing, just a complete story when it's finished, when the first season is done. But it does. I mean, if you actually read it, and the guy's like, I don't think you read it. I think you just skimmed it, dude. Don't review it if you're not going to read it. I really appreciate Professor Geek, who did a thorough read of it, and it was thoughtful. His review was great. I think he picked up on almost everything that I put down, and he was just appreciate it. It's like, don't review it if you're not actually going to, bastards, read it. Okay, enough crying out of me. Let's watch more of this.
Success, absolutely. If you got a product that people want, perfect. But your little campaigns, your little publishing house is never going to go up against Marvel or DC. It's never going to do that. There's characters like Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers, even Lone Star. They're never going to get in the public eye like Spider-Man or Batman.
Well, I mean, Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers are definitely, they're definitely going to get in the public eye, like Spider-Man. Of course they are. This happens. I mean, look, first of all, our little publishing house is all you need. You don't have to be Marvel and DC anymore. I mean, clearly Netflix is shopping deals. That's what all of these, independent, fake SJW pros are going for. All you have to do is do a great book. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a little tiny publishing house, and now it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's entirely possible. I don't understand this negative. It's never going to happen. It might not, but it also, I think it will, actually. I think Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers actually are going to be mainstream properties and are going to get picked up in some way, shape, or form for media and merchandise. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen the comments where people are talking about their kids see the Cyberfrog and they don't know anything about Comicsgate. They're just freaking out because that's the market. Mm-hmm. Cyberfrog toys, at a freaking, well, there's not a lot of toy stores anymore. Walmart would be very popular.
Yeah, I think it would work. I have a pretty good feeling about it. I just feel very positive about the whole thing, and I don't doubt it. And not only that, I'm the kind of guy that just likes to let things happen. This is going to happen, and it's not going to be hard. You don't have to push for it. Just do good work and stay in touch with your fans, and just the good things will come from that.
I was shocked when you said Salamandroid was 11 feet tall on the card.
12 feet tall. Didn't I say 12?
It was like 11 or 12. I thought he was like 25 or 30.
No, but I mean, if you see him next to Cyberfrog, and Cyberfrog's 5'6",
Cyberfrog's like a manlet. I thought he was like 7 feet tall.
Well, he can be. Like, his legs stretch out when he jumps. His legs extend, and he looks more frog-like when he's jumping. But so if he were to actually land on his feet after jumping, like, he would be 7 feet tall. But he's when he's just walking around like a little person, he's 5'6". He's littler than Heather Swain.
So he's like a bagel boss type of guy.
I wouldn't say he's that short, but yeah, he's miniature. He's a frog. He's a little guy, but he's very, very strong. So, all right, he's the underdog.
Batman. Now, I agree. Marvel and DC are really crapping the bed right now. They have no product that I want from them, and that's fine. At least on the shelves, on the monthly shelves. They have no product that I personally want. I don't want the new ASM. I don't want the new Tom King, or what James Tinian's going to do, or 2020 Black Batman. I don't care about any of that. However, there's a huge catalog of backlog that I would love to read. I've never read Legends of the Dark Knight all the way through.
Who's stopping you? Are we stopping you? Did this guy lose his train of thought or what? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that one just got like
a little esoteric there.
Yeah.
Now, if they came out with nice omnibuses or trade paperbacks that collects them all, hey, you got a product that I want. Mm-hmm. Now, in order to make Comicsgate great again, we as the consumers really need to draw a line in the sand and just say no more. Unless, like, I'm not backing any Indiegogo's from nobody I don't trust. If I don't know you personally, you're not getting my money. You haven't earned it. You don't deserve it. There's nothing that you guys have that I even want from you. That's just me personally. Right?
Jesus Christ, what did we do to you? What do you mean? What if we do a really neat book? You don't want it just because you don't know us personally? Oh. Are we losing it with this guy? I don't know. He started out kind of making sense. I don't think he's making sense now. He just sounds really mad.
Sounds like deeply personal.
Yeah. All right.
And I think it's almost kind of. I think a lot of people think this, feel the same as I do. There's no book where I'm like, wow, oh man, this is gonna change things forever. Nah. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't. At least from my perspective. Now, do I know John Della Rose? Yeah. He's a great guy. I get along with him. And I know for a fact he will put out, if he says he's going to do it, he does it.
I think he's going to put out too. I think John Della Rose would put out anytime anyone asks.
Same with Tim Lim. And pretty much any guy named Doug. Those guys always produce and fulfill on time, if not earlier than they said they would. So how do we take it back from these?
They're also comic book professionals, though. That's what I don't understand, Sergeant Batts. You're talking about those guys. Those guys are comic book professionals that you're talking about. So, earlier when you said, hey, the comic book professionals have taken over Comicsgate, we need to take it back. I was like, oh, well, I disagree, but that's something. And then now you're saying these comic book professionals are okay. I trust these ones, And they're just, what are they doing? They're doing the same thing. They're trying to profit from Comicsgate, or at least the feelings of people who are aligned with Comicsgaters. Or Comicsgate. I don't quite get it. All right, let's keep going. Poor Zack, he's stunned into silence.
These fakes. We go back to basics. That's what they do to comic book fans, right? They're like, oh, we've totally gone from the status quo of what it was. We hear you guys. We're gonna fix it, right? And so they do that with comic book characters all the time, right? Marvel did it in 2017. There was Riri Williams, Iron Man, freaking Amadeus Cho, Hulk. Cap was a Nazi, and then we spurged as comic nerds, and they're like, okay, we'll go back to normal, right? That's what we do with Comicsgate. We go back to basics. What we do is, I don't care if you're a Indiegogo, if you a Kickstarter guy, whatever. If you are a comic book creator and you are acting like a crazy person and you're trying to change things
for the
sake of change.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I don't really know either.
We don't want professionals, but if you act like a crazy person,
yeah. I only listened to the first 3 minutes. I'm sorry, Zack. I thought it was going to get real heated up and he was going to make a point.
Well, it sounded like he kind of had a thesis, and now it's just venting and like I can't even follow this.
What's he mad about? What do you think he's mad about?
I mean, I don't know. It feels like there's something probably personal in the mix? Does he have a book that he was promoting or something?
No.
I don't know that.
I don't know either. All right, let's listen to the rest of it, though, Zach. It's 5 more minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
Using it for your own personal ego, CG will call you out.
Yeah.
I will not back down.
All right.
If you are calling people Nazis or SJWs or bigots.
Wait, whoa. We're not allowed to call people SJWs?
So this is one that I had my first little ding on my man crush on Sean Gordon Murphy, because I actually heard him say, if you're out there calling people SJWs or Nazis, you're not helping. I'm like, those are not analogous. That's not apples and oranges.
Right.
One destroys someone's life, and one is just like an opinion, man. In 10 years, no one's going to be like, oh, we did a background check. Somebody called you an SJW in 2016. We can't have anyone living in this subdivision. You know what I mean?
We can dream of that, though. We can dream of the day when SJW is as bad as Nazi. And
Even if I ask Kyver wants to put the SJW to concentration camp.
I can't say that I don't. I mean, well, all right, I don't want to do that. That's wrong. But I do want to.
There's no real impact. There's no negative impact on someone's life for calling them an SJW.
Yeah.
Nobody loses a job. Nobody loses out on an interview process. Nobody fails a background check because somebody called you an SJW. Being called a Nazi can destroy your life. It can make you unemployable for life.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean,
was that the true, like your mom said, I love trucks. You know about that I love trucks?
No, what's that?
So Trump did something that was actually funny. That you could have actually made fun of him. But the shill media with their stupid, just repeating things endlessly. He was at a truck factory and he was telling about a story about his mom talking to him when he was a kid. And he did this weird thing where he did his kid voice as himself, but it wasn't clear. So it looks like he's having a senior moment. He goes, I've always loved trucks. My mom said, when I was a kid, my mom said, you love trucks, don't you? And he goes, and I said, I do. And everyone's like, what's going on? Why is he talking like that? But then like a week later, they're like, oh, he was talking like kid Trump. But it was still kind of weird. And like, there wasn't like a million hit pieces on it. None of the TV news obsessed about. I would have roasted him for a month straight. I do.
No, I got it from Elliot Fernandez. He goes, it's true, like that. He says it a lot. I don't know why, but yeah, probably because of that. All right, let's see. We got 4.5 more minutes. Let's go.
Pedos, any stupid name. If you're calling out the consumer names because they said something, or they did something you didn't like, or they're associated with this person, you're getting called out. CG is a consumer movement. It is ours, the non-comic book professionals, the people who buy comics. If you make comics, you're not CG.
I get bad news for you.
I mean, I could understand he has his thesis and he has his opinion, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Why couldn't we be Comicsgate?
Because we're also consumers. So.
Well, you are. I mean, I'm not really.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even while I was saying that, I was like, I think Ethan reads a lot.
I don't go to comic book stores and buy comics anymore. No, I'm a consumer of old classic comics. I actually support the comic book industry that way. But what
did you do? I remember you used to post on Facebook, hey, I just got a box of comps, and it would be your stuff, but it would also just be like random DC. What became of those comics?
Well, what happened was DC cut them off because I made a video. DC was sending me crates and crates of their books, Zach, and I have to say, I've been getting them, for years, for decades now. And at first it was great. I read everything. I was like, I got to know everything that they're doing so I can be up on my job and know what's going on in the company. Over time, they would send you crates of all of their books and you're grateful to get them, but get them out of here. You know what I mean? Like it's too much already. It's too many comics and I don't know what to do with them. And not only that, familiarity breeding contempt is an actual thing when it comes to the company you're working for and the books they're producing. So even after I left DC Comics, I remained on the comp list for a long time. And then they sent me 3 enormous crates all in the same day. And I took them downstairs and I made a video roasting everything in the box. And I think DC saw that video and said, cut them off. So I no longer get comps from DC Comics, but yeah, they send them all the time. And I still have, if you came to my garage, I would just say, could you take a couple of these with you? I mean, crates and crates of just books, everything that came out that month. So, are you envious of that? Would you like to have that?
It never seemed that cool to me because I always pick and choose. I rarely even have a series where I buy every issue. Even back in the day when things were so much better, I'd do Captain America, and then you go in. It's a fill-in issue drawn by Al Milgrom. You're like, miss me with that shit. I'm not buying that.
Yes, yeah. I for the most part, it's like, I mean, what I want to read in an enormous crate of DC Comics is like less than 1% of what's in there. Like I would go through it and I'd be like, oh shit, Brian Hitch just did a new something, and I'd put that to the side. Oh, Dave Finch's new Batman. Okay, I'm gonna read that one too. And then the rest of it would be like, all right, I don't want any of this, And that's kind of the way it was. And I'd pick out like the stuff that was mine, and I'd put that in my comps pile, my keeper pile. But everything else, I was just like, this is a waste. I don't know anybody to give it to. That is the worst when you don't have anyone around who wants to accept free comic books from you. That's like when something's wrong. It's like I live in this big community with a lot of children, and I don't know who to give these books to. Nobody wants them. Terrible. eBay. Yeah. I mean, we tried that for a little while. We tried eBay. Like we would sit there and try to sell the trade paperbacks, but it's like, then you're going to the post office to mail a $10 book, we'll stack of them. It's no fun. All right, here we go.
I don't care if you're John Della Rose, you're Ethan Van Sciver, you're Richard C. Meyer, you're Doug Tnaple, you are not CG. CG is customers. We are the customers. And if you ever worked in the service industry, you know that the customer is always right. Even if the customer is a total butthole. Yep. If the customer is screaming in your face, saying they're never going to shop here again, you just have to smile and just act professional and not give them the time of day.
That's not an excuse for you to act like a total butthole, though.
I feel like there's some very specific incident or incidents that he's referring to, but I feel like he should just say them.
He should. I would appreciate it. All right, let's keep going.
Where you start screaming at the customer and calling the customer's name, because you know what? In a service industry job, in a retail industry job, you're fired. You're fired flat out. If you start calling the customers' names, you're fired. And that's how it needs to be. That's where it needs to be. We need to make Comicsgate great again. And the only way to do that is by making Comicsgate what it stood for in 2016 and 17. It's not 2018. It's not 2019 CG2 Phase 2. No, there is no other phase.
Yeah, but it is 2019 and we don't work for you. We work for ourselves. You can't fire us. You can't fire me. I have a YouTube channel. It gets a lot of views. A lot of people come to it. There's no way for customers to fire me. They can stop coming, I guess, but there's not going to be a pronouncement. Ethan, you're fired. You can't do Cyberfrog anymore, and you can't sell it to your customers. Nobody can say, Ethan, you cannot say that you're Comicsgate anymore. This is the thing. It really does. It really does perplex me, Zach. I don't know of anyone who has who's actually seen Comicsgate from the angle that we saw it from.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's his opinion. That's fine. I'm kind of waiting for like a proving your thesis moment, and it's just kind of going off into.
Well, I think you're fired is the thing that he wants to say. So.
But I mean, I guess it's. I mean, it's fine. He's doing a video. He's expressing kind of three unconnected opinions, and I don't really know what to do with it.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep going though.
There's a solid foundation that the customer is always right. Comics pros will act professional. They will not try to reinvent the wheel for their own personal egos, worldviews, or religious views, or any of that nonsense.
Agreed.
They are just comic book creators. They go sit in their corner and put out the work for us, the customers.
Holy shit.
And if you're not for that, you're not CG. You're not. You're not a professional. You are a fake. So you need to just go do your job and shut up. Leave the customers alone. If the customers are acting like crazy people, that's fine. The customer is always right regardless, no matter what. That is the service industry. And we, as the customers, put food on your table. If you want our money, you gotta earn it. You don't earn it by acting like a psychopath on Twitter, calling people names, threatening to sue people. Zach, I'm calling you out now, Zach. You don't threaten to sue people and then edit your video later and be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. No. If you create comics and shut.
I can talk about what he just said.
This is
okay,
our
hold on
movement.
a second.
You are not.
Boom, go.
So I did a Crisis comic the other morning, and I didn't like it. I don't generally like DC comics. But then I started talking about paper, and I was talking about the thing. And I did a thing where, I know it doesn't make sense, but I kind of assume that anyone watching one video has watched probably the last few, like all of them. I know that doesn't actually make sense. But I expounded upon something I had said earlier more specifically. And then I thought I said it clearly, like, you know, sometimes you do a video and you go, oh, that's controversial. I might get in some trouble for it. But I didn't think I said anything inflammatory. And then like a couple of hours later, I got a couple of comments and things, and I go, let me check it out. And I go, oh, okay, I can see how this could get misconstrued. So I edited it out. But then it's just that classic thing. They don't like your tweet. They don't like your video. You take it down. Why'd you take it down? You didn't like it. You know what I mean?
That's always been your way of doing things. Like if you
thing you didn't like it, like you didn't like it, so I took it down. Well, do you stand by it? Obviously not. If I took it down, like, why'd you say it? Do you know? Like, I literally just go to Burger King and get breakfast, and then just blather into a cell phone. And so I didn't feel like it was incendiary. I thought my point was clear. I was saying, don't say things you know are false.
Right.
If you know that the book is not digest sized, then don't say that. That's malicious. That's defamation. That's trying to hurt someone's business. If your opinion is that the paper is cheap, definitely say it's cheap. But if you know it's not cheap and you're saying it's cheap, that's defamation. So I was trying to convey an issue about people maliciously lying to defame and destroy businesses. It's not, I'm going to sue you for an opinion. I mean, does that sound like something I'd say?
No, it doesn't. And
I just, a couple of, people just ran with it obsessively for a few days. And like, I would kind of try to clarify, but then you get into the clarification game. And then if the people are purposely misconstruing you from Jump Street, it's all of the clarifications are worthless. So then you got some weirdos. It's like, oh, he deleted it, but we've got the video. It's like, go walk around the block. Like, go pick up trash somewhere. Like, seriously? Yeah, we've uncovered the crime of the century. It's like, and they always, one of the things I notice, like, consistently is the people who hate us, they will say we're evil. And then they will adopt the speech patterns and behaviors of supervillains. They have that florid speech that supervillains, the constant threats, the fake laughing. Mark Waid literally did a fake, like, Skeletor laugh when I had that phone call with him. And I was literally that line from Guardians of the Galaxy, like, that's a fake laugh. I almost said that, but I was just trying to wrap the conversation up because he's an idiot.
Right.
It's like I got a guy in his 50s doing a fake Skeletor laugh at me.
I know.
If they're so good and we're so evil, why are you constantly adopting fake personae of supervillains?
I had another comics pro say, "You forget that you're mortal," to me.
That's actually a good line. Like, I would definitely put that in the mouth of a Skeletor-like character.
Yeah,
that's actually a cool line for a completely over the top, villain from like Buck Rogers or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty.
And they just talk like that. They talk like that, and it's completely insane.
Yeah, I know, and it's really strange. All these SJWs.
Don't they say like you will rue the day and stuff like that?
Yeah, they'll say that. I mean, it's like you read their stuff and you're like, can you just speak normally? Like, you don't talk like a normal person. You're trying to impress me with the words that you're putting down, and it's not working. I know you hear yourself in your head and you hear your voice booming or sounding like Darth Vader, but you sound like a pussy, and your words it's just you're a nerd. It's like you sound like a nerd. I don't know what else to say, but talk normal. Type normal things to other people.
Like it's not just like villains. It's like villains from like 70s and 80s cartoons. And I go, if you're so good, why don't you like talk like Adam West Batman? It's like, you're on the wrong path, citizen. Something like that.
That's what we should do. Yeah.
You got a bad start to your day. Did you have breakfast, young man? Most important meal of the day. Gosh, you're right, Batman. Like, they all have to talk like Skeletor.
Oh, it's so weird. All right, so we're almost done. At least he got to something. At least he, All right, let's see here.
In it. You were X'd out from it. We over here with our wallets, with our hands in our pockets, or we cross our arms. That's what it is. It's nothing else. It's not about you. It's about us.
Oh.
So shut up and do your job. And if you don't like it, you don't get any money. All right, everybody. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below.
I'm changing it. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm changing my mind. I
almost never thumbs up things ever.
I tried to, I feel like if I expect other people to thumbs up my videos, I should thumb up their videos if I see them.
I just don't even think of it. I also think sometimes people thumbs down if they don't like this, like the person. Like you're talking about Rich Johnson, you're like, I don't like Rich Johnson. Thumbs down. It's like, that's not actually what it's for.
This is critical of Rich Johnson. Don't you understand? You should like it. Well, yeah, this guy just told me. He told me my place. He said, all right.
It did look like he got something specific that he had to meet. The thing is, my basic feeling is it's an honest mistake. Yes, I'm sure some third-tier stalker is going to obsess about it for the next 2 months, but, it's an honest mistake. But the clarification game does not work with people who are going to purposefully misconstrue you. And they always talk like this. They're like, like, okay, yeah, like, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's like, gotcha. Explain yourself. Explain yourself. Well, I'll tell you this. It doesn't sound like this is a plan to make Comicsgate great again. Sounds like it's a plan to make Comicsgate whiny and petulant again. And ineffectual. That's my point of view. My point of view is that your plan to tell Comicsgate creators who are actually scaring the piss out of the mainstream that you actually are supposed to hate more, to shut up, sit down, do your job, F you. That's not a path to success. That's a path to maybe fulfilling your own ego. Like you want to control something. Well, I mean, I think ultimately what I would like to say is no one's stopping you. Me being here, Zack being here is not stopping you from doing whatever you want to do. You can call yourself Comicsgate. You can make videos. You can have people go, yeah, right on. Look, great points. Damn, preach it. Right, go. You go, girl. You can do all that, and we're not stopping you. Again, if this is a consumer movement, if you're interested in what customers have to say, and if you respect customers, here's what you should respect. there are nearly 1,500 people watching this live stream right now. When I put this video up and I add Zach's name to it, there are going to be 25,000 views on this video. People who watched what we say, who listen to what we say, who back our comics. Cyberfrog Blood Honey right now. This is the 4th campaign. Links in the description, by the way. Zach, have you seen this?
Yeah, the line art one. Hey,
Yeah.
can you hover the cursor over the thing where it says all the money you've made on all of them? 6 projects. 6 projects highlights.
So,
or $1.1 million.
yeah. Yeah. So this $1.1 million. This is kind of this is the customer's voices. This is the customer speaking a lot louder than a single YouTube video or anything like that. I mean, this is serious. It's a lot of people who like what we're doing and who like what we have to say. And you can say, I don't like it.
I just like to see that. And like I said, I did not know the grinding poverty you had as a child. I was middle class as a child. I was poor as an adult, but it was kind of fun because like, what is it like to grow up in that grinding poverty? Where did you say sometimes you guys didn't have enough food?
No, we never had enough food.
And now you see, because you started after me. This is like 14 months, right?
Yeah.
14 months of sales, $1.1 million.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Well, I mean, it makes you want to do more. It means you don't think about the money, you think about your obligation to continue this, and that's I mean, my life has gotten immeasurably better. I don't want you to mistake what I'm saying. I'm extremely happy. I'm married to the woman of my dreams. I'm living in a great big house with a pool that I just closed down last week, so I don't have a pool anymore.
You closed it down already?
Yeah. We said we'd close it down like the minute that summer was over, so we did that. It's
really?
Yeah.
Is it like covered with a sheet or something?
Covered with a big tarp. Yeah.
Why? Isn't it nice to look at it? Is it
It's
lit at night?
No, it's not. I mean, it's got a big blue tarp over it. I mean, I've still got my gas lamps and everything. I've got a nice fireplace outside, a nice.
Take the tarp off and have it lit. A lit pool looks really nice, especially at night.
Even like through the winter. I mean,
yeah,
you got to run the pool. I mean, the problem is you run the pool, and I'm telling you, it's expensive. So you'd have to keep the filters going and everything like that all through the. It's just not a great idea. And our neighbors closed theirs down too, so. We'll open it again in May. It'll be fun.
Are you going to drain it? Did you drain it?
No, you don't drain it. What happens is in May, they'll come here. They'll take the tarp off. We have pool.
So it's going to become like a pond.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not like that, but it is dirty. What they do is they put chemicals in it. They shock the water. They clean it. It takes a few days for the water to be swimmable. They come in and kick its ass and clean your pool, and then
I've always heard pools are almost more trouble than they're worth.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I'm enjoying my swimming pool, but it's time for it to be. Even though today I was kind of like, I wish the pool was heated to 90 degrees. It's getting a little nippy in the air, and I could just go be in the pool and watch like the leaves turn. Just sounds like a kind of freaky thing, but no, we're not doing that. At least not this year. But the point is, life is good. Life is good. So. I grew up incredibly dirt poor. I don't know about you, but the circumstances of my childhood can be read in my brother Noah Van Sciver's comic book, which is called One Dirty Tree, and it's about. No, it wasn't dissimilar. Okay, it wasn't. Just grinding poverty, mentally ill parents. Just awful. It's like. Things have really changed. I know what it's like to be to live in a house that's infested by cockroaches. I know what it's like to not have enough food to eat. I know what it's like to wear hand-me-down clothes from my dad. I know all this stuff. In high school, it was humiliating. Like just being like, hey, hover this over the 6 projects. Hey, I made $1.1 million last year on Indiegogo. Yeah, that's great. makes me feel good, and it just makes me realize don't take it for granted at all. Just keep going. Keep, do another Cyberfrog book and try to do it again and try to make people happy so they'll come back for a third one. That's how I feel. How do you feel about it?
I'm very excited. I think I'm at like 840 something. But Iron Sights 2, which we just finished, page 90 out of 100. So that's going to be launching probably around the end of the month. That should be crossing me over to $1 million in sales.
Oh, I love it. Congratulations. That's great.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we should be celebrating, But I'm watching Cyberfrog Blood Honey. At this point,
I thought the last time I checked, you were at like 900,000.
Yeah. Okay. So the other campaigns added up were 881,000. Okay. So then add this to that. So we're at 19 minus we're at 831 or 931,000 on Cyberfrog Blood Honey. So, we're about $69,000 away from hitting $1 million on a single book.
Your total is 1.1 million for all.
But that includes the Vampirella projects.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you include that?
Because they're two different books, or they're three different books. This is one book. It's the accumulation of one single book, Cyberfrog Blood Honey. So
that's what came in good too. I was a little worried about that mailer. Mine came in perfect condition, and I haven't heard you talking about people complaining about banged up, because you saw how mine came, right?
Yeah.
They put that like double thick cardboard on the inside. That was amazing, because then it fills up all the corners, so then the corners can't get bashed in. Yeah,
my copy of Jawbreakers came in great shape.
Yeah, I like the Gemini mailers a lot. I'm going to stick with them. I'm saying you guys are using the Jiffy Ridgy bag mailer. I don't know why they call it a bag, but that's good too. The way it was done, bagged and boarded inside, and then that double thickness corrugated cardboard. That was excellent.
Yeah, I've had maybe 2 complaints so far about a dinged book.
Yeah, you shipped what, like 5,000-6,000 already?
Yeah, at least that many. People are particular. They spent a long time on this book. They want it to be in mint condition. I completely understand. And so, we're going to replace, those dinged books for people. I hope they're patient, because I think we got to get through the fulfillment before we do the replacements. But we're going to take care of everyone and make sure everyone's happy. In the meantime, read your dinged up copy. You're getting another one for free.
I always ask, because I would do the same thing. They go, I'll mail it back to you. I go, no, just keep it. And they go, well, what do I do with it? I was like, well, give it to a friend. Give it to a friend you think might be into this, and try to get them into it.
That's a good idea too. Yeah, but I would just say have a reading copy, and then have a copy to keep wrapped up. I think Cyberfrogs and Blood Honey and Graveyard Shift, these comics are going to be, they're important. I think they're cultural touchstones, and I think you're going to be proud that you bought them. They're already selling on eBay for like $50.
So I saw a guy who wrote to me, and he's like, I'm trying to find lost souls, but all I can do is find it on eBay for $200. Oh,
it's beautiful. I mean, it's sad, but it's beautiful. It's also really, really good, that it is that way. So, Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the link's in the description. I don't know what to say. I think we are making Comicsgate great. I think it wasn't great before. That's my opinion. I think some people were having fun with it. They enjoyed, complaining. For some of us, it wasn't fun at all. Being in the eye of the hurricane, for me, Comicsgate sucked balls. But I stuck with it. Zack, I know you thought it sucked. I don't know if you want it to be 2017 or 2018 again. How do you feel about that?
The mania, the absolute mania of these evil and just disturbed people obsessing over you for a year. I think it was like when I hit like going into like the third calendar year, I go, oh shit, I'm about to be into it's like most of 2017, most of 2018. Jesus. Enough.
It's still going, but now I'm, when you said something a while ago that I really liked, and it made me feel cool about who I was becoming. You were talking about like that movie Queen of the Damned, and you're like, you have to get rid of your human body and just become a vampire. And it's like, when you
Well,
are
that was me rephrasing something to you. I was like, God, they got all these hit pieces on me. I'm freaking, I'm working in IT. You go, no, you're a comics guy now. And I was like, yeah, I guess. But now it's solid. Now it's transition to that. But yeah, they were trying to murder me. They were trying to get me to kill myself, and they tried it steadily for about almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to get you to kill yourself.
Who, me? I don't.
Unsuccessfully.
I think they're trying to get Umbrella Guy right now. I think.
Oh yeah. They'll do a Zerg rush, as they say in video games.
Yeah, I mean, when you said that to me, I was like, that's how I feel right now. Like, I feel when you're being harassed and you're being canceled and you're going through that kind of abuse, and God willing, most of you will never go through that, and you don't know what it's like.
It's so intense because people say, you're a Marine. That did zero preparation.
Yeah.
To be stalked by mentally ill people who are being supported by people on the C-list executives, encourage them. Man, good job. Do that some more. That's insane. And obviously, when I was in war, it was an equal battlefield. They actually had an advantage because they had 7.62 and we had 5.56. Now it's just like we're going to weaponize people who should be in institutions endlessly for years.
Yep.
It's like, what the hell do you do with that?
Well, you have to die and be reborn, which is what I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I feel like who I was before is gone, and I've been replaced by something else. But I'm much stronger and much more resilient and much more able to cope with this stuff. Because I couldn't cope with it before. I made every single mistake that you can make when you're being harassed by SJWs.
Oh God, yeah, me too. Oh, I'm gonna apologize. Oh, hey, you guys say I should give money to charity? I'm doing it. Gave money to charity, and the same people who told me to do it accused me of embezzling it, and then tried to get the charity to reject it. Yeah. That's why I say these are the most evil people the human race has ever produced. Can you literally say, you've done some bad things and you need to do right? You should give to this charity. I didn't get to that exact one. I gave to a very similar one.
Yeah.
This guy's embezzling the money, even after I showed like all the receipts, everything. I actually got an email that I'm on the list of. It was something like prime donors for the Trevor Project.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, people who've given whatever number they set for that, 5,000 or more. I get 10,000. So I'm still on that list of evil. It's just straight up evil.
They are
evil. Who does things like that?
Yeah, I mean,
one of the guys was one of the guys who was trying to get them to return to get a suicide charity. They wanted a suicide charity to have less money because they didn't like who it came from. He's one of the guys who edits the Wikipedia page on Comicsgate.
No, what a fuckhead!
Like the level of corruption of these people is mind-boggling.
But it wasn't. It was a.
And then they have all this power, all of this media connections, and they're selling bric-a-brac to afford Coach airline tickets. What's going on?
They're selling bootleg bric-a-brac. Until they get caught, and then they say, "But he's gay. He gets special privileges. Isn't he allowed to subvert copyright?"
It's so funny because literally 5 days earlier, Rich Johnson was doing a hit piece against a convention and a guy who sells cell phone covers for this awful woman who's just trying to destroy everyone, trying to destroy the other guy. The whole time she's saying, "I'm never coming back to this thing, and I'm going to try to get you guys canceled," but spend an entire weekend trying to placate me. And so bootlegging was like the worst thing 4 days ago, and then it's a gay human right now.
Yeah, right.
You're gay, you're allowed to bootleg.
But he's gay.
Is that what the B for LGBTQ plus stands for?
What does it stand for?
Bisexual.
Bisexual, yeah, okay. You're allowed to be a bootlegger. Yeah, I don't know. That was a weird thing. That was a weird kind of confluence of two of the perfect examples of SJWs being hypocrites, complaining about bootlegging, and then insisting that they were allowed to do it themselves. Fascinating and very, very funny. But this is the thing. I mean, the industry, the same people who are gatekeeping the comic book industry, the same people who make it their personal mission to harass people who oppose their narrative. These people are all broke. They're impoverished.
I think you're gonna like my latest video that I uploaded while you started this one. It's called Uncanceled, and they're starting to, there's people are starting to become uncanceled because those people actually can sell books and create viable stories and properties.
Yeah,
I would just love just force put like, hey HBO, you're only allowed to adapt Mag's Masagio comic books for the next year. Put your money where your mouth is, motherfuckers. Hey, sci-fi, Chris Sabella comics only. Yeah,
I've never even heard of Chris Sabella.
I can't believe he has like 12 IPs and he bootlegs Judge Dredd. Like, make merch of your own stuff. You're the hottest thing going, right? In Image, you constantly have a miniseries, one after another, sometimes multiples at the same time.
Yeah.
Turns out Twitter famous can't even get you a coach seat on Southwest Airlines. Legally.
All right, let me read some super chats here. We got a lot of super chats lined up, and thank you, everyone. Chimera says, can we get Galactic Rodents of Mayhem funded? And that's Galactic Rodents of Mayhem on Indiegogo. Go fund that comic book, please. Movie Maker says, Uncle E, my food fortunes rise and fall with you. Whatever you eat, I have to eat as well. You don't want to do that, Movie Maker.
That's not good.
You're eating entire pies with your hands. I mean, Zach, you should see the way I eat a pie.
Well, the thing happened with my buddy. So, he never leaves the house. So I buy all the food. So I start fasting and dieting. It's a lot of like willpower and this and that. And then he lost as much weight as I did. But his was just laziness.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't want to go grocery shopping. So there was just less food to eat. It can kind of, be an advantage if you're eating less food because of someone, but not eating more food in entire pies. What do you eat? You eat the pies that tramps used to steal off of ledges in old Charlie Chaplin serials and Jekyll cartoons.
Yeah, if women still left pies on the windowsill to cool in my neighborhood, I would go around. I would be snooping through people's backyards like Tim Doyle. I would be snagging those pies left and right. But I mean, I do. I eat whole pies with my hands. You don't want to eat like I do, Movie Maker. Just don't. And Zach, the whole idea of like, well, I'm too lazy to get groceries. I'm not too lazy to go get groceries or to drive to Taco.
It would be better if you were.
I know. I'm really hungry. I got to get.
You ever use that Instacart?
What's Instacart?
It's like you give an extra $10 and they'll go get groceries for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I mean that's a good idea. No, I really don't.
I want
what?
This is what I want. Instacart. They'll fill your tank.
They'll fill your tank, your gas tank?
They'll take your car, fill the tank, top everything off, bring it back. I hate
that would be really
nice. I hate it. I don't know why. It drives me nuts. Every time I just get sad. I feel like defeated.
It's inconvenient, that's for sure.
It never happens at a time that's like, I'm running out of gas, but I got nothing big to do. It's like, I got to be there in 20 minutes. Out of gas.
All right, so let's see. Fuck Google 2 says, you are the only guy keeping Comicsgate relevant instead of skulking. Movements always mutate and splinter. Not a bug, but an inevitability. Keep your focus, EVS. Yeah, I like it.
Skulking is a good word, but that's a good word. It feels like that's one of the words that the SJWs would use when they're talking like Skeletor.
Skulking.
By the way, I've got to put you forget that you're mortal.
You forgot that you were mortal, Ethan. He was right. I did. I'm glad he reminded me.
Dude, I got this immortal character in the next Jawbreakers book, Grand Bazaar, and I am having so much fun with her. Because I'm writing her, they usually make them like super serious, but she just thinks people are silly. If you lived for billions of years, wouldn't you find like beings who live for 70 years just like ridiculous?
Yeah, you would be like,
she'll be talking to someone, and then she'll talk to someone else, and then she'll turn back. She go, "Oh, you're still alive? I thought you were going to be dead." How long do you guys live? Like 6 minutes or like 60 years? I go, it's pretty much the same to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like the vampires in like Anne Rice novels. They live so long.
This is so much longer. This is someone who's lived for billions of years.
Oh,
so when she talks, so people are like, we had a war, 100,000 people died. She's just like, we're just gonna die, and like I'm gonna blink, and you will all be dead, and all your grandkids will be dead. Like, people are silly. Like, your creator should have made you stronger. Like, it makes no sense to give shits to these people who die. She's like, don't you guys die sometimes when you punch each other? They go, yeah. Kind of silly, right?
Yeah. Let's see. 12321 Bedmaster. I see you're saying, is there any way to change my shipping info for Cyberfrog? Yeah, you better be quick on it. Just go into your order. Go to your Indiegogo page. Go to my orders, the things that you backed, all the books that you backed. You can go in there and change your address as many times as you want, assuming that I haven't already shipped your book. Because
I think it's called My Contributions.
My Contributions. That's what it's called. Okay. All right. So
I can take this one. You go to your upper right. You're going to see your account, My Contributions, and then it'll show all the books, because you can have different addresses for every single book. Don't think if you updated one book that it'll carry over.
Yeah.
So you go to My Contributions, then you go to that book, and then it's the bottom right-hand corner. Indiegogo has also changed it for refunds. I get a lot of people saying, I bought this, I want to upgrade. Before, it sucked. You had to like get their PayPal, send it to them. Now it's just a thing. Like, as long as that money hasn't been dispersed, to the creator, you can just click this person, and it says, wants to upgrade, and then Indiegogo refunds them, and then they can like immediately get that higher level.
Yeah, I like that. Indiegogo holds back like 5% of your money for refunds.
That's probably why. It's once I started doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really convenient.
It really is. At first, when I first heard that, I was like, what the hell? Because they hold it for like 6 months. Now I love it. As long as that money hasn't been distributed, it's like 2 clicks of a mouse to get someone refunded, and then they get to order that higher level. Awesome. Yeah. The one thing I'm trying to get them on, and I've they've sent me surveys, and I've talked to the people there, is deployed military, APO and FP. They can't in the fields, and that frustrates you. And so I've had to do a workaround for that. So I keep telling them, this is like the last thing I need from you guys.
Yeah. All right. Fusebox says, ladies and gents, Outlaw Nights is live on Indiegogo. Don't miss out on this 48-page fully colored genre blending ball busting action. Trenchard 1375 says, he is a sergeant, not a king. So you're right. It's not King Bat. It's Sergeant Bat who did that video. Let's see. Yellow Flash 2 says, who the fuck is Sergeant Bats? I love Yellow Flash, man. It's good to see him around. Amateur Ant says, who cares if he's Hispanic? Gunner Renee Oe says, Gen X Strikes Back was at Disney. I read that one. Grendelfan84 says, hey, Uncle E, when I read comics, I try to put a voice with each character. I read that one. Mark C says, Sergeant Bats is old school Comicsgate and doesn't believe prose should be due to it being a consumer movement. Let me just say, I completely disagree with that. I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid to exclude people from Comicsgate. I think it's really dumb. And I think what it's based on is people being envious, and feeling like their voices are going to be drowned out by people who are, professional, who might be more popular than them. It's on you. Let me just say it's on you. To make your voice interesting, to make your channel interesting, to make your message unique, and to make people want to listen to you. I'm not going to go away just to create a vacuum for you. I'm going to be here. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I believe in. I've suffered for Comicsgate. I've made sacrifices for Comicsgate, personal ones, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to fight this fight because it's personal to me. You do you, and I do me. I think that's a good way to put it. All right, so Fried the Cosmic Chicken says, Game Workshop Warhammer did a deal with Marvel. Warhammer did a deal with Marvel now?
Yeah, I got a bunch of people sending me emails, but I really don't know anything about Warhammer. So,
yeah. Yellow Flash 2 says, review Crazy Tom's Rose Tico comic. It's horrible. Okay, I actually do want to review that one. People Circus says, keep Comicsgate la happy pretty. That's Yellow Flash. Chucky Wucky says, hey, Uncle E, has the original art been posted? I keep viewing my postman with suspicious eyes. I'm onto him. No, I haven't. I haven't sent out the original art yet, but I guess now I can do it. I just didn't want to send it out until people had their books or were starting to get their books. Now it's personal. Now you guys know what the art is. Frank Valero says, you are the Preston Tucker of comics. You made Comicsgate too good, so they will stop at nothing to preserve the status quo. I don't know who Preston Tucker is. Amateur Ant says we should change the name to Creator Gate. See, Zach, this is another thing, though. People keep wanting to change names and labels. And I see absolutely no value in that. I see no purpose in doing that. You know, it's like it is. People are still going to go, your Comicsgate.
I just think it's weird that people literally still like that they talk about it like it's some terrorist faction, like it's so mentally ill.
Yeah, I know, but you know, that's true. But it's on us to prove that they're mentally ill, and then to prove that Comicsgate is not what they say it is, and in fact, it's a positive movement that is actually bringing prosperity to comics. I mean, it's on everybody to do. You know, nobody else has to do what you want for you to prove your own point. You prove your own point. I mean, when it comes to Comicsgate, every single day, you know, we get out there and we try to show that Comicsgate is where you should come. You know, this community actually does support indie comics, and this is what we believe in. You know, and then that's what we do. And then people can say, yes, but it's anti-gay. It's anti-woman, and it's like, no, it isn't. You know, I mean, Ethan might be, but the movement isn't. And you know, there you go. So Camara says, read my super chat above. Charlie's London says, EVS, I call the other half my hubby, but we actually get married next year. Have decided to name all our guest tables after Comicsgate comics. Cyberfrog for the top table. Oh, that's wonderful. Angry Spark, congratulations, by the way. I didn't know that you weren't married yet. Angry Spark says, check out our 100-page narrated art book, Eternal, funding now on Indiegogo. Action, sci-fi, and ancient mysteries from concept artist Greg Semkow. Gunnar Rene Oye says, this is the worst Scientology lecture. Refund, please. Darkman at McEdgeface says, he sounds mad that the movement went a different direction than he wanted and no one is paying attention to him, so he is declaring #Comicsgate revolt. And again, good for him. Do it. You know, these guys are like taking back Comicsgate. Okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to stay right here. You do what you want to do. That's the key. You do whatever you want. Kid Menu Jeremy says, hail, who is this guy? Purple shoes, Zach. Do you have purple shoes, Zach?
They're gray. They might look like that down in the the wheel well of my car when I'm doing videos.
Yeah. Jokester says, how long until woke media goes broke? 5 years or less? I don't know if
well, like I said, I did a video today. They're already uncanceling people.
You think they're just going to lose their power to cancel?
Yeah, because it's one of those things. It's just like with Dynamite. And what happened? Dynamite just ignored 12 weirdos, and they caterwauled for about 28 hours, and then they were, I can't get abortion in Alaska. They just move on to their next outrage. Honestly, I still to this day don't even think that Dynamite was aware that there was any fake protest of 12 weirdos. It just kind of continued, and the variant and shipped, and everything was just normal. That was a quick turnaround, wasn't that? It was like 5 weeks.
Yeah, it was very quick. Dynamite's asking me to do another one. I don't know if I want to do another one, but I might. They got a new Vengeance event.
I just read an article. The Boys sold like 100 in like a couple months since it was on TV.
Yeah, I know. The Boys is huge, dude. It's gigantic.
That was a good miniseries. The thing is, I actually never read I just read a couple issues of the original book, and I know they said they made some changes because of SG. They made the story more interesting.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I still haven't watched the whole thing. I watched the first 5 minutes, and
I think you're gonna love the Homelander character. I think you're gonna think he's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I can already tell.
He's this Captain America type. Like he'll get in front. He's like, "You guys are the real heroes," and then they all start clapping and.
Zach, you're roboting in and out. People are complaining. Zach is breaking up again. Check your mic, earphones, robot Zach.
Oh, I got away from the.
Yeah. All right, people want to hear what you have to say. It's important. Jokester says,
"How the next video is already up." This, I think she changed her name, but I recognize her picture. I think it was one of those people. Oh, bisexual lighting and murder. She's back.
Oh shit!
And I'm hoping it's not taken down. Here it is. I'll just read them. Show this thread. I will never get over the audacity and idiocy of white men in comics. And then she does a GIF.
Mm-hmm.
The things they'll do to people and then look them in the eye while pretending they're not holding a fucking dagger behind them is an absolutely mind-boggling experience. And I'm not saying others can't or don't, but I'm saying only white men have done it to me personally. And then this is hilarious. This makes me think he's being sedated. I can't wait until the state tells me I can name every single one of you and every individual thing you've done.
Oh, she's going to make a list of all the people who have...
She's done like an employment board because I believe she was an employee of Oni. Again, this is a woman who appears to be mixed black and white, is in a company that merged with Lionforge, which is like 90% brothers from St. Louis. And then it started saying, this is racist. These people are racist against black people. It's like, have you ever seen a publicity photo of Lionforge? It's like 20 brothers.
They're all black. You know?
She's part black. And she's like, I'm fired because of the new merged company, which have they even given a name for that new company?
Liononi. I don't know.
I just hear it.
Lioni.
People say Lionforge is like, oh yeah, that rolls off the tongue really well.
Lioni. That would be better. Zach, admit it. Lioni is a good name for a company. All right, it fucking sucks. You're right. Well hung and Dung says.
This made me think about Lion-O from the Thundercats, and as a kid, I was always like, "Isn't that a really big coincidence? You look like a lion, and your name is Lion-O." Yeah,
I was on that too. Yeah, Sinestro. It's like, didn't his parents know? You know that it's like they were setting him up for a lifetime of evil. It's kind of weird, you know. Well hung and Dung says, let Zach in so he can interrupt every 5 seconds. They're on to you, Zach. Kid Menu Jeremy says, this guy sounds like a meth drunk Ed Begley Jr. That's not nice. Jake Foley says, received a Chromium Cyberfrog yesterday in perfect condition. It looks amazing. Thank you, Ethan. Hey, thanks, Jake. Thanks for supporting the comic. Installation 7 says, yo, boy, Zach, I'm eagerly awaiting your review of Last Night on Earth 3 when it eventually comes out. Any plans on doing Spawn 300 and 301?
I tried to get through Spawn 300. It was freaking excruciating. Todd McFarlane's not a writer. He still does that thing where like there'll be one cool page of Spawn and there's 3 pages of newscasters talking about the news. Each in these giant blocks of text that are, I'm not kidding, they're like 3 inches tall and 2 inches wide.
Yeah.
And that'll go like 3 pages. Because 30 years ago, Frank Miller did it artfully in like the bottom couple panels on a couple pages. Awful.
Yeah. I have to say, when I pick up a comic book, if it has too much text, I just don't want to read it. I just don't want to read that much. I really want the story to happen. When you've got me reading an enormous block of text, I'm not looking at pictures. I need to be looking at pictures, and I'm like well aware of that when I'm writing Cyberfrog. It's like let's just say what we need to say so that the pictures can tell the story. And that's what we need to do. That's why I am an amazing writer, Zach. An amazing writer. One of the greatest. One of the greatest writers in Comicsgate. Thank you. All right, thanks, Zach. Let's see. Daniel Parker says, hey, Ethan, I just got my second Cyberfrog copy today. I think Salamandroid cover is my favorite. Peephole Circus says, you better not be making money from this, Uncle E. Canalis is here. Canales confirms Zack's bonus. Gracias, Sarge.
Yeah, he's been in the hot seat lately because I've been a stickler on a couple of panels.
Yeah.
So I've got like 4 versions of a page, so he's really putting in that extra work.
JM says, let's reform Comicsgate and admit the industry was right all along. What the fuck? Yeah, I know. Cider Hype says, Disney bought Power Rangers, ran it for a while, and then sought to mothball the IP after toy sales dove in 2010. Disney doesn't care. Hashtag indie for life. I wouldn't do a Power Rangers comic. Would you buy that IP?
I mean, I would if I had the opportunity to buy it. I absolutely would. I'd probably have Yelp Flash.
Are you still talking? Oh, it's robotic.
I'm actually right by the
So
tab.
would you have ideas?
I have no ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. I can hear you. Okay, no ideas. Okay. Thunder Robot said, EVS loved Cyberfrog, did a review, and I await issue 2. Thank you, Thunder Robots, who acknowledges that I'm the greatest non-Hispanic comic writer in Comicsgate. Swinging Cod says, never understood this disconnect between understanding that a profit motive is a reason to perform good customer service. War Campaign just became a new member. Hail War Campaign. Rhino says, people who leave Comicsgate become SJWs. Observe them. I think you're right. UR Ivan says, SJW comics are 100% product placement. Sketch Therapy's here. Thanks for $10. He says, Comicsgate is a revolt against creators and companies with bad customer service and bad products. Among the revolted are creators who offer good customer service and good products. It is the individual's choice to buy. See, Sketch Therapy is so reasonable. I don't understand. Liam Thompson says, expensively made comics sold dirt cheap. Make comics great again, or Comicsgate great again. Theron Gale says, I don't think crowdfunding will put enough new franchises of comics in the hands of enough tweens to keep the Western style industry alive going forward. That's interesting, Theron. More people would have to actually do it and get involved. I mean, we can only do so much ourselves. But I don't see why it couldn't. I don't see why more people wouldn't do this eventually, when they realize they have no choice. Tori D says, this guy crying about Comicsgate sounds like a complete cuck. He is no king of mine. Extraordinary Jackson says, this guy sounds like a drunk Mel Gibson. Darkman McEdgeface says, he will only give you his money if you become his friend. Maybe he's hoping the creators will fall over themselves rushing to be his friend. Well, I will. I'll be his friend. Matt Becker says, he sounds on the edge of tears. David L says, I read Cyberfrog 3 times. All I can say is you're an effing genius. The artwork is great. What a great comic. Can't wait for Rainbow the Brute and Wrecked Planet. Wow, David L, thank you. Jay Sim says, this guy is dumb as fuck. It's kind of sad. Integer Spin says, Doug will always deliver. Get the fuck out of here. Thunder Robot says, give away the creative comics on Halloween. Yeah, the kids would just be like, what the fuck? I don't know. I think they want candy. Individualist says, what if 2 customers disagree? Good question. Darkman McEdgeface says, stay in your corner and create for consumers. As we all know, creators like elves aren't people and deserve to be treated and traded as property. David L says, sorry, I will go where I won't be called a Nazi, bigot, misogynist, etc., etc. Mark C, thanks for $10. Outside of any harassment that might have happened, there's a real belief by some old Comicsgate that you believe your own hype behind being called Caesar, that it's more than LARPing. Well, I mean, that's weird. I don't know what to say about that. That's very strange. Future Frank 77 says, when was Comicsgate ever great until Comicsgate creators started making books? P.S. What is OGCG? It's Original Gangster Comicsgate. Zack is one of those, but he transitioned. You're trans. You're a trans CJ. Cyborg Valkyrie, thanks for $10. Says, it's been a month, so I'm tagging you for a wrench again. Cyberfrog is amazing. You and Kyle are...
Laugh just imagining being in like this meeting discussing we're doing the Rainbow the Brute, we got the dolls in the stores, we got the action figures, we got the posters, we're gonna do this price point, and you go, whoa, are you guys trying to do this for profit? Wait. I assured everyone no one's making any money.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I don't understand people. I try to understand, but I really don't understand it. I just go, wait, what? Like you just, it seems like you just don't want people to become adults and make a living. And I don't understand. Like there's a weird weird kind of phenomenon. There's a weird kind of SJW thing where they really like, they think it's immodest or something like that, or uncool to actually seek wealth.
Well, I don't understand. They constantly seek out Hollywood and TV deals, which to me is, and then, but you know what? Actually, they I think they just like the media clout of it. Yeah, because like they know there's not money there. I mean, in rare instances there are, but most people just, I just got Rebel Wilson just sent me a cashier's check for $3,200. Somebody's going to Texas Roadhouse tonight. Okay, so you're going to pay your rent for the first time on time in a year. Congratulations.
Right.
But I love the idea of calming down. No, wait. We're all broke. Oh, okay. No. Now it's fine that they're defending their copyright. They're broke. They can't. Damn, Judge Dredd sells like 5,000 copies.
Right. Yeah. Poor 2000 AD. You know, they're like, we zealously defend our copyright, and they're like, what the fuck? Don't you understand? The guy's gay. And they've just got to be like, yeah, but it's like, you know, when you finally wake up and realize this comic book industry is full of just extremely immature, childish, entitled, adult babies. Babies.
So I had some insiders, from the UK, and they were explaining that is actually the nicest they've ever seen 2000 AD. Like 2000 AD will strip of 12 like a fan page. Like they protect it very strongly because apparently there was even there's a documentary on Amazon Prime Video. It was like the 20th anniversary, 30th anniversary, and like all of their hopes are on Judge Dredd movie. Like they pinned everything on getting a movie, so they want 100% of ownership and then it turns out that there's already a licensed company that got an official license to make personalized Dredd badges. So people were losing money. It was the licensed company was losing money.
Oh shit! Well, of course.
I mean, come on, airfare is $350 if you buy it with 8 days notice. I mean, come on. What adult has $350? You obviously have to turn to crime. I mean, you only get every single one of your ideas made into an Image miniseries, and you got a Hollywood deal. How do you not have $350? I'm not trying to be personal. This is like a It's Always Sunny. He was like, how do 3 men in their 30s not have $800 between them? And they just started saying like random things like, oh, NASDAQ.
All right, let's see. Kid Menu Jeremy says, light your pool, Ethan. Queen Bee's here. She says, I don't get it. Isn't the IP for Earthworm Jim owned by Shiny, a corporation? Why would you pick a corporate-owned product over an indie such as EVS and Zack? Because he created it. He wanted it back. J.R.R. Braun, thanks for $1. Michael T. says, my copy of the team-up cover almost come bent in half. How the hell did that happen? Michael T., just send me an email. Let's see if we can get that fixed for you. Reese Markitis says, Ethan, I live in New York and still haven't gotten my team-up book. Yeah, it's not uncommon. I mean, look, we're not even halfway through.
It's weird. New York and New Jersey, they seem to get everything last, and Pennsylvania too. Like weeks after the rest of the country will. Thanks.
Yeah, but you know what? I think people kind of think that they're getting nervous because they think that it all went out at once. And so, if like some people in New York got it, then surely I'm going to get it. And it doesn't mean that. It just, this many books went out. Thousands of books went out, and some people in New York got their books, but I still have to send another 5,000 or 6,000 team-up covers out. So it's going to be we will be done fulfillment officially at the end of October, beginning of November. It'll all be finished, and you'll definitely get it by then. But don't get worried if you don't have it when other people in New York have it. It's just the nature of individually signing, individually bagging, boarding, shipping comics. It takes time. I mean, it is what it is. Splendopia says, please back Cyborg USA, now on Indiegogo. Frank Valero says, comb Mike Miller's hair or shake Doug TeNaples' hand. Can I jump off a bridge? Josh James says, Orgasm Girl is coming October 16th on Indiegogo. Exciting new indie comic from DanFan29. And Antonio Cardina says, Hail Canalis. Dr. Coffindale says, Jesus, Ethan, watch Tucker the Man in His Dreams so you will get that compliment. It's a good movie, too. Okay, I will. Mr. Cobblestone says, hey, Zack, I didn't know about your Jawbreaker comics until late. Is there a chance you're doing another campaign just selling Lost Souls? I'd really love to support you.
No, actually, Lost Souls is out of print, but there is a summary. There's a summary of Lost Souls in the beginning of God King.
Yeah, so I mean, eBay is the best way to go to get a copy of Lost Souls. It's the only way to go right now. Liam Gray says, if you haven't, you can still pick up your copy of Starblades on Indiegogo in demand. Yeah, Kyle Ritter's Starblades, which is just amazing. It's an amazing looking book from a very, very talented guy. Kid Menu Jeremy says, are you OG Comicsgate 1 or Comicsgate 2 EVS? I'm Comicsgate 2. I think my arrival in Comicsgate made it Comicsgate 2. Hate to sound egomaniacal, but I think that's pretty much the marking point when things changed, because Zack was already going to do his crowdfunded comic. That was the thing. But like, that was when I came on, it was a full-on professional revolt against the mainstream. And I will tell you, I received hell for that. I received hell. I was canceled. I was told a million times I'm supposed to not talk about Comicsgate. I was told that I'm supposed to not associate with your boy Zack. I was told all these things. I said, there's nothing in it for you professionally. I can't see a good outcome from this, Ethan. I can't see a good outcome, I was told. Yeah, fuck these people. So I think I'm Comicsgate, the second wave of Comicsgate. Because it's just like, you have to just rise up and just say, you know what, we're going to do something different. We're not going to beg you to listen to us. That just puts you in this seat. Can you imagine just sitting there asking like Mark Waid to respect you? You can't do that. Mark Waid is not going to respect you. You have to bring him to heel. You have to actually sue Mark Waid, because Mark Waid is going to do illegal things. Mark Waid is going to, go above and beyond to cancel and destroy you. He doesn't respect you asking. He doesn't respect you complaining. He doesn't respect any of that. These SJWs do not listen. They're not listening to Comicsgate. The only thing that they will listen to is me saying, I made $1 million on my frog book. That's the only thing they hear, and it drives them nuts. Your boy Zack doing Jawbreakers and making, how much did Jawbreakers land at? Zack might be gone. 400 and something, 460,000 or something like that. That's what they hear. I mean, that's actually what they listen to. That's what they respond to. And that's how to make that's how to affect change. All right, let's see here. Tyler Prime 71 says he wants you to be the comic book food pantry. Aaron Olson, thanks for joining the channel. Appreciate it. Alan Walker says, will the Ashcan and Team Up cover be shipped together? Yeah, in some cases not. We are going to ship the we're just shipping things as we go. I think they might be waiting for the Ashcans to come in, but if the Ashcans come in late or later than expected, they'll probably just ship them separately. Corey Legend says, I cannot help but wonder how much of this anger is due to the timing growth, making snowflakes feel they lost the I liked it before it was cool thing. Yeah. Darth Cisco says, have you talked about John Delarose using Cyberfrog's name to sell flying sparks on Indiegogo? I haven't really talked about it. I just mentioned it once on Kiwi Farms. I said, look, I feel responsible for his portion of his success. Flying Sparks, let me see where it's at here. Hold on 1 minute. In general, if you are anti-Comicsgate or Comicsgate adjacent, you're going to edge up around $500. That's what you're going to earn. So Flying Sparks is somewhere around $1,241. So I take credit for about $741 for that campaign. And I mean, I don't mind. That's what Comicsgate's for. It's like, yeah, trade on the name Cyberfrog. Anything I can do to help, no problem. So, from me to you, JDA, if you're watching, congrats. Happy to help you. Happy to lend you some of my legitimacy. All right, so Panboy Lando Soychild Dong Lover says, Godfather of schemes and scams. Hey, this was fun. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for joining us. We've still got 1,319 people in here, and I do appreciate you guys. Absolutely love you guys. Thanks for being here. Sergeant Bats, look, if you can do a rebuttal if you want to this, we listened to your video, and I just want you to know that, hey, it's on you. It's on you to affect the change that you want. You can't stamp your feet and demand that you get an audience of people who listen to you and want to hear what you have to say. You actually have to go out and do it. You have to produce content that people want to read or listen to or watch, and make a compelling argument. Make a better argument than me. I've told these people what I think Comicsgate is. I talk about it every day for 16 months, and I have a YouTube crowd of about 132,000 followers or subscribers, and that says something. The idea that we've hijacked Comicsgate is a perception built around the fact that we're incredibly popular. By that I mean me and Zack. You can do that too. You just have to actually do the work. Don't stamp your feet and just expect everyone to believe what you're saying. Make a compelling argument that attracts people. It looks like you're already attracting some people. Keep going with that, and that's, I think, a little bit of diversity of opinion is a good way to make Comicsgate great again. But I think one of the main ways is to actually strike fear into the hearts of these mainstream SJWs that have ruined the hobby that I think we both care about a lot. And with that, thank you guys very much. I will see you again later. I guess I'll see you tonight for the High Council, 9 o'clock on World Class Bullshitters. Everyone have a great day. Thank you for all the super chats. All right. Bye-bye.